On a beautiful morning, the area in front of the dungeon was already packed with reporters gathered for work. "Hunter Kim Jun-woo, what are your thoughts on becoming the world's first SSS-Rank hunter?" Someone interjected. "You became world #1 within a year of becoming #1 in the country." Then, a barrage of questions was fired off. "Is it true that you received an invitation from the International Hunter Association?" At the same time, a sea of microphones and phones were pointed forward. Mixed in with the curiosity of the news hounds, someone asked, "The level of this dungeon is extremely high. Please tell us how you're going to deal with it." Another quickly chimed in, "Do you have any advice for your junior hunters?" Amidst the clamor, Jun-woo didn't answer, thinking to himself, "This is the first raid in a long time." Outwardly, he maintained a cold expression, but inside, a little doubt arose. "I don't remember broadcasting this everywhere, but the area in front of the dungeon is already swarming with reporters." Immediately after, the questions continued to be thrown at him. What were the criteria for selecting the 16 hunters today? One person after another cut in. The blue gate that appeared recently. Another reporter wanted to pry into his personal life. Are you aware of the hot new rumor? Jun-woo felt like he could read their minds. Even so, for them, today is an opportunity that can't be missed. After a moment of silence, he finally spoke, his voice concise and firm. "I'm sorry. Right now I want to focus on clearing the dungeon." At that moment, Jun-woo glanced at the reporters and quickly assessed their reactions. From their response, it seems this was the answer they expected. Disappointment showed on each of their faces as they simultaneously pressed their lips together and fell silent. Seemingly used to this, he thought to himself smugly. They understand that as long as they get a soundbite from me for the media, they'll benefit. I guess I'll put on a special performance today. Just before stepping through the gate, Jun-woo suddenly turned around and declared in a clear voice, "But there is one thing I can say for certain." His expression was resolute as his powerful voice continued to ring out. "My team always thinks of the safety of civilians first and above all else. This will never change." After speaking, Jun-woo turned and left, ending with a neat two-word phrase, "Farewell." That performance left the reporters buzzing in admiration. He's #1 for a reason. Someone else praised him. Even if he says some controversial things, he's still the best hunter there is. As he strode forward, he was certain in his mind, saying that will leave a good impression on the public. But just then, an unexpected question rang out, causing Jun-woo to stop in his tracks. "Hunter Kim Jun-woo, do you have anything to say about the assault on the dungeon cleaning crew member?" Hearing that, Jun-woo turned his head in surprise. Around him, the other reporters were all stunned. Only the reporter named Kim maintained a calm expression. Not stopping there, he continued to press the issue. "The incident where you assaulted a staff member of the dungeon cleaning crew. I heard you threw him against a wall." This sudden topic made Jun-woo's face turn pale. He stammered in response, "What are you talking about?" At that reaction, reporter Kim showed a cunning look and pressed on relentlessly. "Come on. I know you want to play dumb about it, but I've already heard quite a bit about it. And as it happens, I'm acquainted with the person you assaulted." At this, he bared his teeth in a grin, a sly smile filled with mockery, and then slowly concluded, "But still, being the world's #1 is much more appealing." A second later, reporter Kim's expression turned sinister as he confronted him. He coldly dropped an insinuation. "That's why even though you beat a man old enough to be your father, not a single article was written about the incident." Instantly, this became a hot scoop, and the reporters began to gossip among themselves. Hey, did you hear that?" Another whispered to the person next to him. "Hunter Kim Jun-woo assaulted a civilian? This is a huge story." Someone else expressed doubt. "Reporter Kim, do you have a proper recording of that?" Faced with the sudden turn of public opinion, Jun-woo's face darkened so much that he was at a loss for words. Ignoring the chatter around him, he just coldly turned on his heel and left, tossing out a short sentence. "That's a baseless rumor." Watching his retreating back, reporter Kim deliberately called out in a jeering tone, "Oh, and hey! Good luck with the dungeon clear today, world's #1, Hunter Kim Jun-woo!" Those words made Jun-woo so angry he gritted his teeth. A cold aura emanated from him, making the team members around him instinctively shrink back. At the same time, the scene shifts to a skyscraper in the Republic of Korea, the Supernatural and Spatial Management Association, or the Association for short. To give a general introduction, the function of this place is to be an agency established to protect the country and its civilians from the dungeons and monsters that have appeared. Regarding its internal structure, the association gathers talented individuals with superpowers and has formed 4 teams. To be more specific, among those teams, the operations team handles on-site clearings. In other words, the hunter team. Among them, Operations Team 1 is considered the most elite. Of course, Jun-woo's presence in this team is a given, and considering the team's track record, it's beyond question. The dungeon clear success rate is 100%. Every team member is a high-ranking hunter in the country. The captain of that team is none other than him. The man who always wears a cold, distant expression. Sometime later, inside a moving car, a hand swiftly swiped through online news pages. A dense barrage of news articles appeared. Controversy over the character of the world's top hunter. This isn't his first time doing something like this. Article after article dominated the front page. A hero on the outside, a scoundrel on the inside. The strongest hunter on the chopping block. Kim Jun-woo, from abuse and assault to dungeon clears, what is his true personality? Exposing Kim Jun-woo, world's #1 hunter. Beneath the clickbait headlines were negative, hateful comments. He deserves it. Just get lost. The keyboard warriors relentlessly attacked. I knew something was up. How can a bastard like him call himself the #1 hunter? Is there anyone here who still likes Kim Jun-woo? Didn't he hit someone recently, too? I happened to meet Kim Jun-woo in real life, and he was a total jerk back then. Reading this, he couldn't help but grit his teeth and hiss, "What is wrong with these guys?" Hearing this, Manager Lee seemed puzzled. "What's the matter? After such a successful dungeon clear," Jun-woo replied in a furious growl, his eyes still glued to the screen. "Are you really asking because you don't know? Didn't I tell you to keep that incident under wraps?" Manager Lee, focused on driving, calmly replied, "I did." But Jun-woo furiously yelled, "Then how did it still leak? It's all over the internet!" Sitting in the car, he raised his voice to question her. "That reporter, who does he work for?" She answered calmly, "He's not a reporter, he's just a civilian." Jun-woo's eyes widened in disbelief as he challenged her. "What did you say? How could someone who isn't a reporter know about that incident?" Hearing this, Manager Lee slowly offered her speculation. "It seems he's the son of the dungeon cleaning crew captain, Park Guntae, the one involved in the recent assault." This answer made him clutch his head in defeat and curse loudly. "God damn it!" She continued in a steady voice. "The problem is that this isn't the only assault case." Then Manager Lee seriously gave him some advice. "Right now, witnesses from previous assault cases are also coming forward because they have public support. It's only going to get worse from here. So for now, you should go home and rest. You don't have any schedules anyway. Just think of it as a vacation for you." After hearing this, Jun-woo called out in a low voice, "Manager Lee." His eyes were blazing like a villain's as he gritted his teeth and replied wrathfully, "Do you know how much I hate people who get in my way?" She calmly replied, "I know." Jun-woo said resentfully, "If you know, then do something about it. If this incident gets any bigger, my reputation will be ruined." Manager Lee looked at him through the rearview mirror and made a concise promise. "I'll do my best." Jun-woo just stared at her intently but said nothing more. A moment later, he sighed and lamented, "It's like I'm talking to a machine. Whatever. What did the head of the association say?" Manager Lee's voice remained steady as she answered, "He hasn't said anything yet. He's busy with the International Association's reconnaissance mission. He's probably waiting for this to blow over." But Jun-woo became anxious. "Don't kid me. When that man has nothing to say, it just means he doesn't want to. Who knows? He might kick me out soon," he said with bitterness. "After I handed him so many achievements, if he's planning to do that, I won't go down quietly." However, she didn't show the slightest change in emotion and let out a curt phrase, "Is that so?" This annoyed Jun-woo, who remarked, "Are you a robot or something?" Manager Lee didn't respond and continued the story. No matter what public opinion was, it wouldn't be a problem. The rankings wouldn't change, and the operation wouldn't fail. He replied confidently, "Of course. That's how it should be." Although he was anxious about the public's reaction, Jun-woo could only sit there with his arms crossed. At that moment, he was in a terrible mood, thinking to himself, "After clearing the dungeon, I read those articles, and it made my blood boil." Recalling the situation, Jun-woo slammed his fist into the wall in frustration. "That son of a bitch! Damn bastard, I won't let this go!" The brown-haired young man quickly tried to calm him down. "Captain, calm down." Meanwhile, his teammates behind him whispered, "He's at it again." The person next to him sighed wearily. If he loses it again, no one can stop him. His heart grew heavy as he recounted, "My team members had to stop me from going after that reporter, who I later found out was that man's son." Back then, Jun-woo had punched the wall hard enough to crack it. Now his mind was still racing. "And so, I reluctantly drove to the association. Even though I was calmer than before, my anger still hadn't faded. The glamorous scenes from the past flooded back to him. The moment he walked the red carpet, flanked by 2 rows of guards, hailed by thousands of people. "Kim Jun-woo! Kim Jun-woo!" They shouted endless words of gratitude. "Thank you for saving us." Everyone praised him. Our savior, along with flowery compliments, truly the #1 hunter. Those were his golden days when he was known as The nation's youngest hunter, the nation's first S-Rank, the world's first SSS-Rank, #1 in the country, #1 in the world. He even received an invitation from the World Hunter Association. All those years of achievement, all for nothing. At this thought, Junwoo's face boiled with a hatred so intense it felt like he was about to burst into flames. He gritted his teeth so hard that his lip bled, his heart filled with rage. "It'd be strange if I wasn't pissed off. You dare get in my way?" Suddenly, Manager Lee's question cut through his thoughts. "So why did you do it?" Junwoo answered calmly. "I already told you. It's because that guy grabbed me by the collar first." She pressed on. "And what was the reason he grabbed your collar?" An image of the cleaners appeared in his mind, along with Manager Lee's voice. "I know you don't have a good opinion of the cleaning team, but this is the first time you've clashed with them directly." Her words made Junwoo turn his face to the window to avoid her gaze, replying vaguely, "I don't know. I can't remember why." The car continued smoothly down the road while he maintained his arrogant demeanor. "Anyway, once we get to the association, that guy named Park Gyun. Damn it, what's his name again?" Knowing he'd forgotten, she prompted him. "Team leader Park Juntae," Junwoo ordered sharply. "Yeah, that's the one. Bring that guy to me. Before this thing blows up any further, I need to settle things with him." Hearing this, Manager Lee quickly replied, "Understood," and neither of them noticed the truck in the opposite lane accelerating. He crossed his arms in annoyance, clicked his tongue, and complained, "This guy and that guy. Everyone's always trying to pick a fight with successful people." His words distracted her, and she glanced over at Junwoo. Suddenly, his eyes widened as he noticed something unusual up ahead. It was because that truck was about to ram straight into their car, making Junwoo yell in alarm, "Look in front of you!" The dangerous sight left them both stunned, their eyes wide and speechless. The truck suddenly swerved at breakneck speed and was about to smash into the front of their car. In this perilous moment, the distance before the two vehicles collided was less than a hand's breadth. So he quickly raised his hand and activated his learned skill, time dilation. Luckily, thanks to that, Junwoo's car managed to swerve and avoid the accident in the nick of time. He thought with a racing heart, "If I had been 1 second slower, I'd be a smear on the pavement right now." However, observing the situation ahead, Junwoo broke out in a cold sweat as he realized, that truck, it's not even trying to brake. The crazy vehicle went on to hit 2 other cars on the road, forcing him to curse out loud, "What the hell is this? That damn bastard, is he drunk?" After that near-death experience, a trembling and panicked Manager Lee collapsed onto the steering wheel, mumbling, I don't know." Suddenly, with a click, Junwoo opened the car door with a furious expression. "I've had enough of this crap." Next, he strode aggressively forward, demanding, "Who the hell is responsible for this?" Abruptly, Junwoo's steps halted as he felt something beneath his feet. A second later, a series of restraining devices shot out from the road surface, trying to capture him. In just a moment, an iron shackle snapped tightly around Junwoo's wrist, alarming him. He didn't have time to react, only able to grit his teeth and think, "This is an anti-superpower restraint device. I can't move." While Junwoo was struggling against his bonds, the crazy truck charged at him again from behind. The blinding headlights made him turn his head in shock, realizing something terrible was about to happen. Junwoo tried to yank his hand free from the restraint, but felt a sense of helplessness in his heart. "Damn it, I can't use my skills." Not long after, a loud crash echoed as the massive truck slammed into him. At that moment, Junwoo's face was contorted in such pain that he coughed up blood. But the horror wasn't over. He saw another crazy truck charging at him from the front. The 2 trucks slammed on the gas, crashing into each other and crushing Junwoo's body between them. Following that extreme action was a terrifying explosion that turned the scene into a sea of fire. The fire raged violently, leaving nothing visible but thick smoke and flames. But from within those flickering flames, his silhouette faintly appeared. After the catastrophe, Junwoo stood up and gave a triumphant smile. Well, today was a terrible day anyway. His face was smeared with blood, but he gloated with arrogance. "Who dares to challenge me?" Nearby, dozens of elite soldiers in full armor aimed their guns straight at Junwoo and shouted, "Prepare to fire!" The moment the command was given, a hail of bullets immediately tore into his body. Junwoo squeezed his eyes shut as blood poured out of him. He silently assessed the situation. It was a well-planned surprise ambush. An ordinary hunter would have been finished off without any chance to fight back. But for someone who has fought over 1,000 battles, all he could see were soldiers falling while he stood defiantly, weapon in hand. He recalled the times he'd faced multiple ferocious monsters at once, thinking to himself that in a dungeon, life and death are decided in the blink of an eye. Back then, Junwoo would have let out a ferocious roar, his fighting spirit blazing. Then he would have decisively annihilated them all. His mind proudly declared, "That's who I am." Comparing this to killing monsters, Junwoo was resolute. "I won't die from something like this." Remembering how he'd massacred monsters with a sword in each hand, he told himself, "I truly believed that." However, reality was cruel. Junwoo was kneeling in surrender before a squad of special forces. With a weapon pointed straight at his head, all he could do was remain silent and silently assess it. That gun, with its blue light. Junwoo felt a sense of helplessness inside, until I saw the Titan, a psionic gun designed to clear dungeons. With the weapon pointed directly at the top of his head, he felt a shiver of fear and muttered, "That's a little dangerous." But then, with a single shot, the soldier didn't hesitate to pull the trigger and eliminate Junwoo. Next, a system panel scanned his body to check his condition. Severe damage detected in lungs, heart, liver, brain, and other organs. Cardiac arrest confirmed. Calculating recovery probability. A few seconds later, it checked his heart rate and announced, "Confirmed, you are dead." Their mission complete, the soldiers coldly threw Junwoo's body into the river. His body sank into the cold water, completely lifeless. Suddenly, the system displayed a line of text. "Due to your death." It continued. "Conditions for acquiring a hidden skill have been met." A screen flashed brightly above Junwoo's body. Hidden skill. Karma. The system displayed a cryptic message. Hidden skill. Karma. Thanks to this hidden skill. No longer vague, a bustling city appeared as it explained in more detail. "You will now return to 10 years ago. After your return, you will be assigned a job based on the karma from your previous life." The scene shifts to someone's arm cleaning up monster corpses. At that moment, the screen updated, displaying assigning job. A foot stood in front of a sack containing the corpses, and the system announced, "Job assignment complete." In a place resembling a large workshop, Junwoo's silhouette could be seen, letting out a weary sigh. A cleaner urged, "Hurry up! We've only got 45 minutes before we have to be at the next dungeon." Another person assigned tasks. "Everyone, clean this area!" Someone nearby remarked, "This spot hasn't been fully sanitized yet." And a voice called out, "Kim Junwoo, hurry and take that to the monster incinerator!" All while he stood exhausted amidst a pile of monster carcasses. Finally, the system designated his role. "Your job is with the Republic of Korea's Spatial and Psionic Management Association. You have been assigned to the dungeon cleanup team." Drenched in sweat, the newly reincarnated Junwoo complained, "Damn it, I'm so tired!" Memories flooded Junwoo's mind of the soldier pointing a gun at his head and their conversation. "Have you been drinking?" His own dazed reply, "I'm not sure." But his mind was racing. Who the hell was that bastard? Did he set up a psionic blocking device beforehand? I can't use my skills. How dare they challenge this body? Feels like my lucky day, huh? The Legion? Or special agents? Guild members? He can't be taken down like this. A psionic subjugation weapon. However, the gun remained pressed to his head, and his heart screamed in despair. "I seriously thought I could win. The Titan, you sons of bitches! I don't want to die. Why is this happening to me? This is too dangerous." After reliving that nightmare, he woke with a start, panting heavily. Junwoo shot up and mumbled a curse. What the hell was that dream? Then feeling dazed, he wondered, "How long was I asleep? My body is so sore." Suddenly, Junwoo's eyes widened in shock at something he saw. Before him was a shabby, filthy room with things strewn everywhere. Junwoo was bewildered. Where is this? He glanced at the trash bags in the corner and mentally estimated, a single room, about 8 pyong. 1 pyong is 3.3 square meters. This is worse than a pigsty. This is definitely not my house. Looking at the filthy toilet, Junwoo scoffed internally. A place this size might even be smaller than the bathroom in my house. After taking in the situation, he silently concluded, then this can't be Manager Lee's place either. An image of Manager Lee flashed in his mind, asking, "My house? Do you really think that's possible?" Junwoo was certain in his heart, even if the world were ending, there's no way that woman would ever bring me to her home. He shakily got to his feet and walked around the room, unable to shake his curiosity. So where the heck am I? Once again, something strange caught his eye, making Junwoo's eyes go wide with surprise. It was the system panel, displaying a huge message. "Your death has been confirmed. Because you have died, you will receive a hidden skill." Hidden skill. Karma. He also recalled the image of himself sinking into the river. Not believing it, Junwoo scratched his head and grumbled, "Your death has been confirmed? What? Damn it. This isn't some comic book." However, when he looked in the mirror, he was horrified to realize, This is me from 10 years ago. To be precise, this is Kim Junwoo at around 28 years old. Stunned by this, he exclaimed, "What in the world is going on?" Realizing something was wrong, Junwoo commanded in a panicked voice, "Open system!" The familiar words immediately appeared. Hidden skill, karma, view skill effect. It made him freeze like a statue. The system announcement was crystal clear. Hidden skill, karma. Activation condition, death. The skill's effect will send you back 10 years in the past. This skill effect cannot be cancelled. After reading it, Junwoo reeled back, confirming once and for all, this wasn't a dream. His face twisted as he let out a laugh from the sheer shock, while he thought bitterly, "I'm already dead." The screen continued. "Due to the skill's effect, your job class will be reset." Junwoo ground his teeth in fury and cursed, "Damn it! He bitterly thought to himself, for someone like me who became a hunter at 18, I rose to A rank by 28. At that time, I was ranked 22nd in the country and 525th in the world. If I had simply gone back 10 years, I would still be a hunter. Someone who had the world's attention, an incredibly famous hunter, but looking back at the information on the screen, job class, dungeon cleaner, Jun-woo's heart filled with contempt. Cleaning? The great Kim Jun-woo is now a dungeon cleaner? His face darkened as he read on. Karma, cancellation. Condition, within 5 years, rise to the position of Secretary General of the International Superhuman Association. The skill will be automatically cancelled upon achieving the goal, and you will return to the moment before your death. If you fail, the hunter Kim Jun-woo will cease to exist entirely. Time limit, 4 years, 11 months, 29 days, 20 hours, 52 minutes, 48 seconds. Close skill effect. The most important line immediately caught his eye. Cancellation. Condition, within 5 years, rise to the position of Secretary General of the International Superhuman Association. He grasped the core point. The cancellation condition is the Secretary General position. It made Jun-woo collapse to his knees in shock. So, if I succeed, I can go back to before I died. But if I fail, I'll be stuck as a cleaner forever, he mumbled in disbelief. Damn it. No way. A clear image of the modern headquarters of the International Superhuman Association appeared. Jun-woo silently made his assessment. The global organization that monitors and commands all the world's associations. The Secretary General there actually wields more power than the U.S. President. In other words, it's the most powerful position in the world. Therefore, knowing his own limits, he thought to himself, that's a position I couldn't even get on the reserve list for, even when I was SSS-Rank. Jun-woo stared helplessly at the notification in disbelief. And they want me to climb up there? In just 5 years? Next, he stood up, sighing wearily to himself. That's impossible. Whether I want to or not, this is way beyond my abilities. As he navigated the system, Jun-woo said irritably, let's just ignore it. Karma, schmarma, what does it matter? But then he frowned, considering it carefully. Still, if I can become the Secretary General, I can live again. If so, my past life as a hunter should be pretty useful. As long as I have my skills, I can climb back to SSS-Rank. However, reality came crashing down as the screen displayed Unique Skill, Demon King, Locked, Learned Skill, All-Powerful, Locked, Learned Skill, Limit Breaker, Locked, Learned Skill, Heaven Piercing Shot, Locked, Learned Skill, Scroll, Locked. The sight made Jun-woo scream internally in despair. All my hunter-specific skills are locked? The small spark of hope in his heart was extinguished, and Jun-woo smiled bitterly. What the hell is this damn karma anyway? Suddenly the system flashed. Congratulations! You have acquired a new skill. Seeing that, his face filled with excitement as he cheered. Yes, just one usable skill is all I need. But then, the next line appeared. Auto-learn. Cleanliness freak. Effect. Clean it up, you idiot. This slap in the face made Jun-woo grit his teeth in a rage. In his fury, he threw and broke something, the sound echoing into the living room. Afterwards, exhausted, Jun-woo lay sprawled on his bed, mulling everything over, dying, only to wake up 10 years in the past, going from an SSS-Rank hunter to a dungeon cleaner in a single day. The thoughts continued to race through his head. All my hunter skills are locked. My entire life's work has all gone down the drain. So, he sighed in frustration, asking himself, what do I do now? Am I really supposed to work as a cleaner? But a second later, Jun-woo thought with pride, no, an SSS ranker has his dignity. I'd rather die than do that. Remembering those Special Forces soldiers, he mused. Besides, first I need to find out who those bastards that killed me were. That was definitely no ordinary match. Jun-woo puzzled it over. A private guild? He continued to rack his brain. Or maybe people from the association. Then Jun-woo reasoned in his head. If not, then... Before he could finish his thought, his phone suddenly rang. Unknown caller. He didn't hesitate and quickly answered the call. Hello? A cheerful voice on the other end exclaimed, You picked up. Jun-woo, it's me, Team Leader Park. The man continued. It's nothing serious. I was just calling to ask if you could come in to work today. That name made him rack his brain. Team Leader Park? Do I know a Team Leader Park? The person on the other end continued his friendly tirade. You're over an hour late for your shift. I was wondering if you were feeling unwell. That last dungeon was a bit tough, wasn't it? Hearing that, Jun-woo shot up and thought to himself, Dungeon. The job class Karma assigned me was the Dungeon Cleanup Department. Gun-tae was still trying to persuade him over the phone. Really, that last dungeon was an exception. Today's won't be that bad. Sang-hyuk, who overheard the conversation, sounded annoyed. Seriously? While Hui Jiang said irritably, "Isn't that guy just skipping because it was too hard?" He looked at Gun-tae reproachfully. "He's not the first or second person to run off after starting a job. Why are you even calling him?" While the other man cursed, "Damn it! If he can't do it, he should at least call in." These complaints reached Junwoo's ears. Making so many people wait because of one guy. Seriously, another voice chimed in. "Give it a rest, old man. He's just some worthless newbie." Those harsh words made his blood boil. He was seething with rage. Even if I'm their subordinate now, to be looked down on by a bunch of cleaners, it seems like they've got a death wish. Seeing how harsh they were being, Gun-tae turned and shouted, "Everyone, quiet down! He might have his own reasons!" Then he softened his voice to the phone. "Anyway, Junwoo, if you're tired, just rest. But if something like this happens again, just give me a heads up, okay?" He answered hesitantly. I understand," Gun-tae added thoughtfully. "You can just text this number. Just save it as Team Leader Park Gun-tae." Junwoo's voice rose in shock. "What? Sir? What was that name again?" That question surprised everyone on the other end. However, the man just smiled brightly as he introduced himself. "My name is a bit hard to remember, isn't it? I'm Park Gun-tae." After hearing that, Junwoo's face went pale as he repeated each syllable. Park Gun-tae. But the man continued cheerfully. "Anyway, just rest for today. If you can make it in next time." Junwoo immediately cut him off. "I'm on my way now." Gun-tae was taken aback for a moment. "What did you say?" Grabbing his jacket as he walked out the door, he answered, "I'll be right there. I'm going to work." A short while later, on a public bus cruising down the road, Junwoo frowned in thought. It was surprising enough that there were no decent clothes at home, but what shocked him a second time was that his Bentley was gone. Now, sitting on the bus, he grumbled to himself, "I had no choice but to take a taxi, but I didn't have a single penny in my wallet, so the great Kim Junwoo has to ride a public bus." It was so frustrating, he cursed aloud. "Damn it! The more I think about it, the more pissed I get." His mind soberly accepted a fact. In short, the me of now is completely different from the me of before. That means my relationships will also be completely different. My violent encounter with Park Gun-tae won't happen here either. Junwoo silently calculated. Right now, he and I have no relationship, but if Park Gun-tae was the one who finished me off in that battle, then that changes things. My death was really strange. He kept recalling the moment he got out of the car and how it was disguised as an accident to get his attention. The image of being handcuffed also flooded back, along with a quiet suspicion, as well as the fact that a device had been attached to him to prevent him from using his skills. Then he thought of another detail. The gun used to shoot him was far from ordinary. Its origin was the Titan, a twin monster firearm, a special weapon used for subjugating those with supernatural abilities. As a hunter, Junwoo was knowledgeable. Among all weapons, this is of the highest class. Both its cost and the technology are immense. It's not an item that someone like Park Gun-tae from the cleanup department could possibly obtain. But he might have hired a specialist out of his hatred for me. He connected this to reporter Kim's deceitful smile and thought to himself, his son also held a huge grudge against me. Sitting on the bus, Junwoo couldn't stop thinking, right, to commit such an act of violence over a little scuffle. Suddenly, his eyes grew pensive as he recalled a sentence. "You should have just listened from the very beginning." In the past, Gun-tae's face was pleading earnestly, "Please, take it back." At that time, Junwoo asked coldly, "Who are you?" Gun-tae introduced himself, Park Gun-tae, leader of the dungeon cleanup team. He thought to himself, "I've never heard that name before," then asked with feigned curiosity, "What business do you have with me?" Gun-tae explained with a worried tone, "I heard the higher-ups want to reduce the personnel in the cleanup team. We're already short-staffed and things are really tough right now. If they cut even more..." However, Junwoo just replied indifferently, "Why are you telling me this?" Then he stated frankly, "I can only voice my opinion. I don't have any actual authority. This is something for the management team to handle, so you should go talk to them." Despite this, Gun-tae tried to persuade him, "In this industry, everyone knows the influence a hunter has. A single word from you could make the entire association reconsider. Laying off a few people like us is no big deal to them." Then he bowed his head and pleaded, "So please, I'm begging you, don't cut our personnel. Please reconsider." That action made Junwoo frown in annoyance, thinking to himself, "I figured word of my recommendation to reduce the cleanup staff would get to them, but I didn't expect him to come directly to me like this." He judged inwardly with a sharp, cold gaze. Moreover, the look in this man's eyes, he'll definitely make things more troublesome. At that moment, Gun-tae's face looked haggard, but it was also very resolute. After considering it, Junwoo said, "Do you know this? A lizard cutting off its tail is actually a very inefficient defense mechanism." This confused Gun-tae, who uttered, "Sir?" Junwoo continued calmly, "Even so, to escape danger, it's still willing to sever its own tail. Have you ever thought about why? A ruthless glint appeared in Junwoo's eyes as he emphasized, "It does it to survive. Even if it's not effective, even if it suffers a heavy loss, it desperately wants to live. It is the last resort." Seemingly understanding his point, Gun-tae hesitated and stammered, "But we—" He moved closer to the man and spoke cruelly, "Are not the tail. I'm sure that's what you want to say. Of course I understand. Humans always think they're the most important beings in the world." Then Junwoo asked in a low voice, "But do you really think so?" He selfishly revealed the reason. The association's financial situation is very difficult right now. Because of that, the salaries of high-ranking hunters have also been cut. Hearing this, Gun-tae demanded loudly, "Don't tell me it's because of your salary that we—" Junwoo replied with a stern expression, "The association's top priority is to protect the people from monsters and dungeons. We hunters are the ones who do that work." Then he turned his back and said as he walked away, "But should those hunters have to work for compensation that isn't worthy of what they do? That's why this purge is necessary, isn't it? We have no other choice but to use this last resort." The man shouted indignantly, "No way! There has to be a limit to things!" Junwoo's tone was filled with contempt. "The cleanup team. Frankly, you don't really do anything, do you?" Gun-tae shouted agitatedly. "Do you have any idea what kind of work we do?" But he just furrowed his brow slightly and answered dismissively, "Cleaning is just cleaning. What else could it be? In short, we'll add more personnel later, so just leave it alone for now." Watching Junwoo's retreating back, Gun-tae roared in fury, We have our pride too!" But he just replied apathetically, Yes, I understand. Actually, this should have been done years ago. I only overlooked it out of camaraderie. If you understand, then just trust me and go back." Suddenly, the man's words made Junwoo stop in his tracks. "You said the association's top priority is to protect the people, right?" All of a sudden, Gun-tae cast aside all his pride and knelt down, pleading, "Are we not people too? Please, I beg you, reconsider." However, he wasn't moved in the slightest and just clicked his tongue. "How annoying. I thought you understood. It seems that wasn't enough." So Junwoo uttered stone-cold words. "Honestly, you people should be grateful to us." Gun-tae looked up at him in surprise. "Sir?" Junwoo said cruelly. "What else? You don't have to risk your lives to fight. You just comfortably clean up behind us and collect your money. All this time, you've had enough to live on because of us. Why are you making so many demands?" His next words were a direct insult that shocked the man. "You're not parasites, are you?" At this, Gun-tae lost all patience and grabbed his collar angrily. "What did you just say?" Junwoo didn't take it lying down and shoved the man hard against the wall. He hissed with a contemptuous look on his face. "Damn it, what was that?" While Gun-tae slumped in pain, his head bleeding non-stop, Junwoo only scolded him coldly. "You bastard. How pathetic. It was just a light push." A moment later he called, annoyed, and ordered in a gruff voice, "Manager Lee, get over here and sort this out. Don't drag me into such troublesome matters." Back in the present, Junwoo got out of the car and arrived at the work site. Looking at the cordoned-off entrance, he noted to himself, the danger level of this dungeon is ELO level. His mind flashed back to a past memory. At this point in time, an ELO level is where you could see a foxtrot centipede. I participated in a subjugation raid when I was 28. This scene only confirmed it for Junwoo. It seems I really have gone back 10 years. From behind, Gun-tae waved and called out cheerfully, "You're here, Junwoo! Over here!" His eyes stared at the man with hostility, thinking, "I finally met you, the one who made me this way." However, the man just laughed heartily. "Didn't think you'd actually show up. I'm Park Gun-tae of the dungeon cleanup team." Gun-tae welcomed him with an enthusiastic smile. "There you are, Junwoo. Here, over here." But in contrast, he pressed his lips together, his thoughts filled with enmity. "I've finally met him. The bastard who brought me to this point." Junwoo's face was set like he was looking at an enemy as he silently named him, the dungeon cleaner, Park Gun-tae. But the man just laughed heartily and asked, "Why the long face?" Junwoo assessed him internally. A typical middle-aged man in his 50s wearing cheap work clothes. This image is exactly as I remember. As Gun-tae got closer, he secretly thought, he doesn't look like someone who could get a person killed. Unaware of this, the man cheerfully urged him on. "Hurry up! Did you have breakfast yet?" Then, Gun-tae clapped Junwoo on the back and announced to the team, "Everyone, gather round. Didn't I tell you he'd be coming?" From the first day I met him, I could tell he was a really honest guy. Seeing this, one of the guys clicked his tongue. He obviously only came because he was caught trying to run away. This was cleanup team number 3, laborer Han Sang-hyuk. The brown-haired young man showed his disgust openly. "Honest, my ass. Last time, this bastard said he couldn't do anything, and he really didn't do a damn thing." This was cleanup team number 3, laborer Im Hui-jong. The only girl in this group also looked annoyed. "There are already 4 people on the team. Why'd you bring him along?" She was cleanup team number 3's Mun So-yeon. Gun-tae quickly tried to placate them. All right, that's enough. Now that everyone's here, let's get to work. Sang-hyuk, how much time is left? He replied, 45 minutes. The number startled him. Is that all? That's not much time. Sang-hyuk scowled and grumbled. What do you expect? He was a whole hour late. Hearing this, Jun-woo thought to himself, they're so rude. A moment later, Gun-tae regained his cheerful demeanor and gave orders. Can't be helped. Let's get this done quickly before we get chewed out again. Everyone answered in unison. Right. Next, he handed protective gear to him, saying, All right, here you go, Jun-woo. This should fit you. Holding the equipment, his mind was lost in thought. A gas mask. His dazed look made everyone stare at him, and Gun-tae asked worriedly, You okay? Is something wrong? He frowned slightly and uttered, No, it's more than just a problem. What exactly does dungeon cleanup even involve? Scene change to a luxurious building in Korea. The Supernatural Dimension Management Association, or the Association for short, consists of 4 main teams. Its organizational structure is as follows. At the top is the Korean Supernatural Dimension Management Association. Below it are 3 departments, the Management Team, the Hunter Support Team, and the Operations Team. And finally, at the lowest rank, is the Dungeon Cleanup Team. The specific duties of each team are monitoring the appearance status within dungeons and gathering information, which belongs to the Management Team. Next is the no less critical task, producing and maintaining weapons and items as well as supporting general activities. This belongs to the Hunter Support Team. Most importantly, a group of hunters who go and eliminate monsters in the dungeons, called the Operations Team. And finally, the lowest ranking team. All the members were heading into the dungeon. Gun-tae wanted to confirm, Huijang, you're disinfecting, right? He nodded. Yeah, but the hallway is wider than I thought, so we might not have enough solution. The man continued to direct. If you spray over a wide area, it'll be enough. Sang-hyuk, check the boss monster's room area. So-yeon, check the gas levels inside. She immediately agreed. Got it. Gun-tae commented, This boss monster is pretty big, so dismantling it is going to take a while. Hurry up. Jun-woo put on his mask and followed them, but internally he was confused. The dungeon cleanup team. I still don't understand what their function is. Why are they pretending to be so busy? While the team was heading straight inside, he suddenly turned in a different direction. The man noticed and called out, Jun-woo, where are you going? It's dangerous to move around on your own inside a dungeon. However, he just gave a confused look. What? Jun-woo explained, You said we were going to the boss's room, didn't you? Gun-tae acknowledged, That's right. So you need to stick with us. The boss monster's room is this way. However, he pointed straight at the gate in front of him and said, What are you talking about? It's over there. This left Gun-tae bewildered. What? Sang-hyuk scratched his head and swore, What the hell is this? So-yeon spoke up tiredly. Excuse me, but if you don't want to work, you can just tell us. Huijang, standing next to her, snapped angrily. We barely have any time left, which is annoying enough. Why are you acting like this? Faced with their words, Jun-woo just casually put his hands in his pockets without saying anything. Sang-hyuk added, Just ignore him. Let's go. He slapped the piece of paper onto his chest and said angrily, This is the map the management team gave us. Open your damn eyes and see for yourself where the boss monster's room is. Jun-woo held the maze-like paper, which had a red dot with the word target written on it. He knew full well the hunters from the operations team who participate in monster subjugations are the ones who create the maps. Sang-hyuk's expression was firm, as if he was waiting for an apology. Internally, Jun-woo thought, which means this map can't possibly be wrong. But after looking at it, Jun-woo tossed the paper aside and declared, This map is wrong. It's really this way. The management team, huh? I rarely worked with them, but is this really how they do things? That assertion made him furious. I'm gonna lose my mind. Team leader, is this bastard high or something? Gun-tae also looked doubtful. Why are you so confident? He answered out of habit, almost unconsciously. What does confidence have to do with it? As someone who's participated in dungeon clearing, hearing this, the man became even more confused and repeated, Someone who's participated in dungeon clearing? Realizing he'd said too much, Jun-woo blushed with embarrassment and thought to himself, Whatever. It's not like they'd believe me even if I told them. So he didn't argue any further and reluctantly went along with them. It's nothing. Let's just keep going. His attitude left everyone baffled. Sang-hyuk and So-yeon, walking ahead, felt like something was off but remained silent. Meanwhile, Gun-tae asked with concern, Are you hurt anywhere? Jun-woo calmly replied, Perfectly fine. Then he asked, But, what did you mean we only have 45 minutes left? Gun-tae answered, That's how much time we have before the dungeon closes. Haven't you heard about that? That made something click in his head. That's it. Jun-woo recalled that all natural dungeons disappear after being cleared. The time frame is, on average, 2 hours. Hunters usually don't pay attention to it since they leave right after clearing the dungeon, but that's a crucial time frame for the cleanup crew. The people who enter the dungeon after it's been cleared. Finishing his thought, he muttered with a sigh. It's going to disappear anyway, so why are we even cleaning it? But Gun-tae just chuckled. It seems you don't know anything, kid. He explained seriously. A cleared dungeon doesn't disappear, it just goes dormant, waiting for the monsters to return again. Hearing that, Jun-woo hesitantly said, I knew that, but... Gun-tae quickly cut in. Then you should understand, right? What if the dungeon reopens and it's full of monster corpses? He acted indifferent. Is that really a problem? The man closed his eyes for a moment and explained, It is. First, it makes it easier for hunters to get lost. Jun-tae's voice continued steadily along with the vision of what would happen. The gases from the decomposing monsters are also very dangerous to human life. At the same time, if monster corpses pile up like that, the hunter's range of movement will be restricted, which means this will directly affect the clearing of that dungeon. That philosophy made Jun-woo nod as if he'd just had an epiphany. He proudly shared the cleanup crew's responsibility. In other words, our job is to help hunters get rid of their worries so they can focus on clearing the dungeon. So it's okay to feel proud of what we do. Then Gun-tae laughed confidently. Because without us, there would be no hunters. Seeing this, Jun-woo could only judge him silently. What a load of crap! While the other 3 members were focused on their work, he droned on. In short, our team's main tasks are to dispose of the monsters, clean up the byproducts of the clearing process, and ensure that no information about the hunters is left behind. And in some cases, we also rescue hunters from dungeons. But that has never happened before. Jun-woo judged him in his head again. Of course. A janitor saving a hunter. I've never heard of such a thing in my life. But still, I guess it's not as pointless as I thought. When they stood before a closed gate, Sang-hyuk exclaimed, We're here. According to the map, this is the boss room. So he immediately rushed forward to open the door. But the scene inside stunned Sang-hyuk, who took off his mask in astonishment. What the? The empty space left him completely shocked. It's not here. Just then, Jun-woo spoke up seriously. I already told you, it's not here. Hui-jang still looked scornful. What? Weren't you just lying? Sang-hyuk, still bewildered, asked, What exactly happened? He pressed on. Team leader, what should we do? Gun-tae thought for a moment and said, Well, since it's come to this, let's just find a way to finish up quickly and get out. The 4 of them huddled together to discuss. The leader asked, How much time do we have left? Sang-hyuk replied immediately, 22 minutes. Gun-tae seemed a bit uncertain. That's still enough, right? He replied optimistically, Well, it's better than getting reprimanded. Hui-jang agreed. I'm with you. So Yeon shared the same view. If everyone agrees, let's do it. Suddenly, Jun-woo shouted in protest, Wait a minute, enough for what? Gun-tae replied with an enthusiastic look. What else? Time to work, of course. Shouldn't we do what our team is supposed to do? Worried, he questioned them loudly. You said we only have 22 minutes. What if the dungeon closes? It takes at least a week for a dungeon to reappear, and at most, it could be a whole year. However, Gun-tae just laughed out loud and replied nonchalantly, We'll just be trapped here. What's the big deal? But Jun-woo knew one thing for certain in his heart. Being stuck in a dungeon for a year, in short, means death. And so he scowled and snapped, Are you all out of your minds? Risking your lives just to clean up? But the man maintained his positive attitude. Is that so strange? It's always been like this. All right, let's hurry up. Only Jun-woo was left standing there, stunned. Sang-hyuk's mocking voice echoed back, If you don't like it, you can just leave. I wasn't expecting anything from someone like you anyway. Gun-tae tried to placate him. Come on, forget about him. Let's just do our jobs. Besides, it's his first time in a dungeon. He replied, annoyed. But he's really looking down on our cleanup work too much. He was silent, at a loss for words. Then, it was So-yeon's turn to walk past Jun-woo. She glared at him with a look of disappointment, making Jun-woo's heart skip a beat. Suddenly, the space became empty, leaving him standing there all alone. At that moment, Jun-woo recalled his glorious past and thought to himself, I have 15 years of hunting experience. In all that time, I've never failed even once. As a result, I became the first SSS-Rank hunter and the world's top hunter. He gritted his teeth, his mind filled with rage. No one gets to say a thing about my work in a dungeon. Jun-woo smirked and thought bitterly, Me? Being looked down on in a dungeon? By a bunch of janitors? His pride made him speak up. This room has a shortcut. Those words made all 4 of them turn around. Sang-hyuk scowled openly. That bastard! He's starting up again! But Jun-woo retorted sharply, Shut your trap and listen. He glared, his eyes full of anger, and analyzed in a stern voice. The distance from here to the boss room is about 500 meters. If we take this shortcut, it'll take 8 minutes. If we run, it'll only take 5. Next, to everyone's amazement, Jun-woo coolly gave an order. I'm taking command this time. If you don't like it, you can leave. Guntae's voice called after him, Wait, Jun-woo! As a result, all the members scrambled and ran for their lives down the shortcut. Before long, he stopped in front of another door, breathing heavily. This time, Jun-woo stepped forward to open the door, and everyone's face was filled with anticipation. The scene inside made everyone's eyes widen in utter disbelief. The corpse of a giant monster was sprawled out before them. In his mind, he identified it. The Bok Tuk Vu, a centipede-like monster over 10 meters tall. At that moment, Sang-hyuk's voice was flustered as he admitted, This really is the boss's room. Jun-woo carefully observed the countless shell casings on the ground and secretly deduced, Judging by the state of this room, a fierce battle must have taken place. If the operating team had 20 people, at least 5 or 6 of them must have died. Focusing on the Bok Tuk Vu's head, he concluded internally, But they still managed to find its weakness. The indentation on its forehead right above that massive jaw is this monster's weak point. Then Sang-hyuk stepped forward eagerly. We don't have much time, let's get started. However, Jun-woo raised a hand to stop him, which annoyed Sang-hyuk. What are you doing? We don't have time. Don't tell me you're being so petty you're stopping us just because we came to the wrong room. Suddenly, the monster's huge, bloodshot eye snapped open. Then, it opened its sharp-toothed maw, lifted its head, and snarled, causing the entire team to freeze on the spot. Everyone was terrified. Guntae screamed in a panic, It's still alive? No way! The monsters were definitely all taken care of. While Jun-woo at the front didn't know how to react. Faced with this critical situation, his eyes narrowed in fury, and he complained internally, What the hell, this is such a pain! Jun-woo's face contorted as he thought to himself, Damn it, I don't have any skills yet, this is going to be difficult. But a second later, the giant monster suddenly collapsed to the ground again, leaving everyone bewildered. His mind immediately analyzed the scare. Rigor mortis. So that was its final death throw? Damn that operating team. Couldn't you guys have double-checked? Hui Jang, on the other hand, let out a sigh of relief, exclaiming, That was a surprise. Next, he pulled out a dagger and asked condescendingly, This is your first time seeing a boss monster, isn't it? Stand back. This took Jun-woo completely by surprise. What? Hui Jang continued with a righteous tone. You were just staring at it like you were in a trance. It's okay. Step back if you can't bring yourself to touch it. Hearing this, he got so angry he gritted his teeth, cursing internally. What the hell is this bastard spouting? To prove his point, Jun-woo snatched the weapon from him and said, Unbelievable. Just give me the dagger. Seeing him walk straight toward the monster's corpse, Hui Jang yelled in surprise, What are you doing? Jun-woo explained in a serious tone, You said you were going to dissect it, but if you just stab it incorrectly, you'll break your wrist. While demonstrating, he explained the theory, the knife can only pierce through the 3rd, 6th, and 12th segments. Stabbing anywhere else is just a waste of effort. Suddenly, Jun-woo noted with a hint of surprise, Looks like its nervous system is still reacting. But don't mind it, even if it moves while you're cutting. His actions made Hui Jang, Guntae, and Sang-hyuk all stare with expressions of disbelief. Seeing them just standing there, he prompted them, What are you all doing? Are you just going to stand there and watch? The leader stammered, Of course not. We'll get to it. A moment later, Jun-woo shouted, You have to stab it at the right angle and then lift. Don't think you can cut it by just stabbing randomly. And don't touch the tail. Many hunters have died from its poison. His attitude made everyone think the same thing. This guy nags a lot. He wasn't finished. Jun-woo continued his lecture. And don't step in the blood. It's not poisonous, but it's incredibly sticky. If you step in it, you'll be completely stuck. Seeing this, Sang-hyuk turned to Guntae and asked irritably, Team leader, did you show him the control team's files? Are you trying to help the new guy? Guntae immediately replied, No. Looking at how skillfully Jun-woo was working, he didn't believe it. Don't lie. Otherwise, how would a total rookie know all this stuff so well? The leader replied honestly, I forgot to show him. Besides, that information isn't in the file anyway. Sang-hyuk's gaze turned to Jun-woo, who was focused on his professional work, and couldn't help but wonder, What? Then how does he know all that? Guntae's voice sounded uninvolved as he replied, How should I know? While Jun-woo remained engrossed in his work. At the same time, a new system notification appeared. Passive learning, cleaning obsession, passive activated. A moment later, the blood-stained dagger was dropped to the ground. The Bok Tuk Vu's corpse had been cleaned, leaving only its skeleton next to numerous trash bags. Dissection complete, a member announced. Another called out, We're done over here too. Jun-woo looked at their handiwork, letting out a tired sigh, but his expression was one of deep satisfaction. But in a flash, his expression suddenly changed to one of shock as he asked himself, Why did I find that so satisfying? At this point, everyone's face was smeared with blood. Guntae asked warmly, Jun-woo, are you sure this is your first time? Sang-hyuk clicked his tongue in annoyance. He only did a small part. So Yeon cheerfully corrected him. What do you mean a small part? He did almost everything. Jun-woo looked at them and thought to himself, They're making such a big deal out of a simple cleanup. Over on the side, Hui Jiang's tone had softened. Looks like a promising one has arrived. You must be worried, Sang-hyuk. Hearing this, Sang-hyuk said irritably, Can you stop teasing me? Someone checked their watch and reminded the group, That's one job done. Let's get out of here. Only 5 minutes until the time limit. That's plenty of time, Gun-tae praised them. Good work, everyone. After that, the members of the cleanup team began to file out one by one. The leader commented cheerfully, This one was easier than I thought. It's all thanks to Jun-woo. But behind him, Jun-woo, who had been walking, suddenly froze. Looking down at the streak of dark, syrupy liquid flowing under his feet, Jun-woo exclaimed, This is... A vague answer formed in his mind. Is this blood leaking from a bag? Seeing this, Sang-hyuk turned back to mock him. Hey, did you just step in it after warning us to be so careful? So Yeon, however, sounded worried. Team leader Jun-woo can't move. However, Jun-woo said confidently, It's fine, I'm okay, everyone, step back, which surprised his teammates. What? Jun-woo thought to himself, relying on his knowledge. The boss's blood is incredibly sticky. Even as a hunter, it'd be hard to break free using just my strength. He raised his hand and spoke the answer in his head. But it's weak against high heat, so this skill should melt it easily. A brilliant red light flared in Jun-woo's hand, and the screen immediately displayed a notification. Activating skill, Hellfire. But reality slapped him hard in the face. It reported back, skill unavailable. Skill is locked. This made him look like a complete fool in front of everyone. The outcome wasn't what he'd hoped for, so Jun-woo got flustered and cursed under his breath, Damn it! At this moment, no one was laughing. Only Gun-tae was shouting orders. Hui Jiang, did you bring rope? Tie it on him quick! The rest of you grab the rope! Instantly, he followed the team leader's command and reported, It's done. The leader held the rope and ordered, Everyone pull hard! Next, the 4 of them pulled together in unison, dragging Jun-woo towards them like a game of tug-of-war. But then chaos erupted in the team. Damn it, he's not budging an inch, another member said anxiously. What about the time limit? Leaving him to watch in a daze. While Jun-woo's feet were stuck fast like glue, everyone was buzzing around instead of running. 1 more minute! No, 5 seconds left! One person who wouldn't give up said, Let's pull again! 1, 2! This stunned him. What? Gun-tae shouted, It is no use! Jun-woo, take off your protective gear now! So Yeon quickly tried to stop him. Wait! The gas concentration is too high, it's too dangerous. In the urgent situation, he couldn't hold back his frustration and yelled, So you want all of us to get trapped in here? His words shocked him. All he could do was wonder in confusion, what is he talking about? I'm the one who can't move. Why would everyone else get trapped here? Seeing his teammates working together to save him, Jun-woo still thought of the saying, Even a lizard cuts off its own tail to survive. Why don't you guys just leave me behind like a tail? Seeing him still frozen, Gun-tae screamed urgently, What are you doing? I told you to take off your protective gear, now! Sang-hyuk's voice boomed. Hey, you bastard, snap out of it! As Jun-woo took off his outer layer, he thought to himself, These guys are dumber than lizards. Realizing the situation was hopeless, Gun-tae said grimly, This isn't going to work. Everyone leave now. Sang-hyuk asked in shock, What? What about you? But he just answered calmly, Whoever can live, must live. He immediately shot back, That's ridiculous. If so, it should be me. Gun-tae urged loudly, Get out now. This is an order from your team leader. Sang-hyuk's face beaded with sweat as he hesitated for a moment before making a decision. Finally, he chose to turn away and slowly began the countdown. 10 seconds left. Time ticked by. There were only 10 seconds of life or death. While the other 3 members headed out, Gun-tae turned back inside to Jun-woo. He still hadn't given up and continued to swiftly remove his gear. Only 9 seconds left. In the 8th second, Gun-tae started to take off his own outer suit. Next, he put it on Jun-woo and helped him run outside. The clock was ticking down at the 7-second mark. All that could be seen left behind was a single boot and the protective gear. Time flew by. 6 seconds left. At the 5-second mark, the 3 remaining members were glued to the gate, waiting from the outside. In those short 4 seconds, Sang-hyuk, So-yeon, and Hui Jiang all wore expressions of sheer terror. In the final 3 seconds, Gun-tae still had his arm around Jun-woo's shoulder as they escaped together. As their hands were about to reach the gate, there were only 2 seconds left. In that fragile last second, his eyes were filled with fear. Finally, as the clock hit 0 seconds, the dungeon gate closed. The 3 outside could only hold their breath, eyes wide, waiting for good news. A miracle happened. A panting Gun-tae laid the unconscious Jun-woo on the ground as the other members rushed over. The moment they saw him, they were overjoyed and called out, Team leader! Gun-tae smiled warmly and waved at his teammates. At that moment, Jun-woo woke up, his face drenched in sweat, and thought in shock. What? Did I almost just die? His eyes widened and his jaw dropped as he said to himself, That dungeon didn't even have any monsters. And that was just during cleanup. Suddenly, Gun-tae's hand reached out to help Jun-woo up, his voice warm. Jun-woo, Are you all right? He answered, flustered. Yes. The man exclaimed cheerfully. The gas concentration was lower than I thought. What a relief. After that, Guntae laughed heartily and commented positively. You worked hard on the first dungeon of the day. Phew, we were lucky. Things could have been much worse. Junwoo was speechless, thinking, I almost died and you're calling that lucky? Suddenly, the color drained from his face and his tone became frantic. Wait, did you say the first dungeon of the day? The man replied. This is just the beginning. Junwoo stammered, How many more are there? Guntae beamed and held up 5 fingers for an answer. The shock left him stunned, his eyes glazed over, completely speechless. His mind immediately flashed back to the organizational chart. There are a total of 8 operation teams in the Seoul branch and 96 teams nationwide. Within the Republic of Korea, Supernatural and Spatial Management Association, there are 3 main divisions, the Control Team, the Hunter Support Team, and the Operation Team. Including the freelance hunters not affiliated with the association, there are about 11,300 legal hunters in Korea. At the very bottom were the dungeon cleanup teams. On the other hand, there were only 5 dungeon cleanup teams in total, with just 25 members. Based on experience, Junwoo mentally estimated that each team had to clear an average of 3.3 dungeons a day. And if they were unlucky, they'd have to clear more than 5. He froze completely. His face fell as a horrifying realization hit him. And today was that unlucky day. That evening, at a roadside diner, Guntae suggested, Okay, since today is an unlucky day, let's go have dinner. A team member expressed doubt. Don't tell me you're treating us to dinner again, sir. He replied cheerfully, It's only right for the boss to pay for these things. Huijong disagreed. If you treat us every time, how will you get by? And so Yeon offered a suggestion. Our salaries aren't that different. Let's just split the bill. But Guntae was insistent. Come on, guys. You have to let me save a little face on occasions like this. Then he happily turned and asked, Junwoo, you're coming too, right? You're the main character today. He even asked thoughtfully, Is there anything you want to eat? Huijong turned away, his voice impatient. Decide quickly. My legs are getting tired from standing. Guntae continued his invitation. Hey, why don't you come over here? Despite their enthusiasm, Junwoo just replied coolly, I'm not going. This answer left everyone speechless with astonishment. He thought to himself, there's no need to build a relationship with them, but still. Then, Junwoo began to stammer, today. But before he could finish, Guntae laughed heartily and said, It's fine, don't worry. I won't force you, but it would be great if we could talk more. He looked awkward, his lips twitching slightly as he replied, No, it's not like that. Finally, he just scratched his head shyly, turned, and walked away. It's nothing. Goodbye. Leaving the man with a question mark in his mind. Suddenly, Junwoo had to stop when he heard a compliment from behind him. Good job. So Yeon said in a gentle voice, See you tomorrow, Junwoo. While Sang-hyuk added in a friendly tone, Get home safe. Everyone's warm attitude made him pause and think. Late that night, the city with its many skyscrapers had fallen silent. Only Junwoo was left lying in bed, head on his pillow, deep in thought. It wasn't Team Leader Park who killed me in my past life. He's not so heartless as to kill someone just out of anger. He wondered, then who was it? Besides him, who else hated me? A series of names flashed through his mind. The youngest on the team, Yang Kwanmo, who I used to curse at. Min Yoo-jin, who I broke up with after a fight that was practically a death match. Hwang Dong-wi from the control team, who I used to kick around. The more Junwoo thought, the more uncountable the list seemed, forcing him to exclaim, Why are there so many? I thought there would be 1 or 2 at most. He lay in his messy room mumbling to himself, But what's the point? The person who killed me in my past life is just a stranger now. Suddenly, Junwoo's eyes became determined as he vowed to himself, In the end, I want revenge. I have to settle this score and go back to my old life. All of a sudden, his mind recalled the system's difficult condition. To do that, I need to become the Secretary General of the International Supernatural Association. That made Junwoo sigh in frustration. If I had skills, I'd have continued being a hunter, or I'd find a way to join the control team. Wait, at that thought, he immediately shot up and moved his hand to operate the system. Open system. Seeing something made Junwoo exclaim in his mind, stunned, What? I couldn't check it properly this morning? He thought uncertainly. But there's one skill unlock condition. A new notification appeared on the screen. Fire Angel, unlock condition. Annual cleanup salary over 60 million. Break the limit. Unlock condition. Cleanup team participates in a competition with at least 30-to-1 odds. All powerful. Unlock condition. The dungeon cleanup job is voted the most favorite job by young people in their 20s. Scroll unlock condition. Demon King unlock condition. Cannot be checked. After reading, Junwoo burst out laughing with delight. If that's the case, I don't need to be a janitor anymore. Let's see. Unlock condition, cleanup salary, let's see, over 60 million annually. Cleanup team participates in a competition with odds of at least 30 to 1 in the cleanup team. He had only skimmed the first few criteria before going mad with frustration. That's way too many. Why? Are all of these conditions related to the cleanup team? Instantly, Junwoo crushed a water bottle in his hand as if to vent his anger. Then he threw it forcefully forward and yelled, "You expect me to live and breathe in that cleanup team?" A second later, he took a deep breath and calmed himself down. Calm down. The water bottle lay discarded in a corner, along with trash scattered around. Suddenly, Junwoo's state was as if hypnotized by the notification line. Passive skill activated, cleaning obsession. Strangely, he obediently went to clean every nook and cranny, even thinking to himself, "Why is this room so dirty? Have I been living without cleaning it? Ugh, when did this expire?" The sound from the system made Junwoo shout in frustration, "This is so annoying! I can't even relax because I have to focus on cleaning." At that moment, the screen displayed, "Unlock condition met, a day's work." Another line of text appeared, "Unlocked skill enhancement." Just then, hearing steady snoring from beside him, Junwoo grumbled in annoyance. "It's been a week since I had to start taking these crowded, dirty buses every morning." Inwardly, he was extremely uncomfortable as he lamented, "It's been such a long week." Meanwhile, glancing at the scenery slowly passing by the window, Junwoo gradually relaxed and let himself sink into his thoughts. During that time, I've cleaned 25 dungeons. From that number, memories of one hard day after another surfaced. Through countless trials, I've eliminated 30 beasts, the skills I've unlocked. Among those abilities, there was one particularly powerful skill. 1. Enhanced processing skill. The user's movement speed is automatically increased during combat. To be able to use it, Junwoo had to unlock it through a scenario. A day's work. It's unlocked randomly during the A day's work scenario. As soon as he possessed that power, he immediately thought of how to use it. This is a very useful movement skill, but it's only effective when I link it with other attack skills. However, upon closer consideration, Junwoo also quickly realized its unavoidable weakness. Also, because this skill only appears on a real battlefield, I can't practice it any further. The deeper he thought, the more irritated he became, to the point that he cursed under his breath. "Damn it!" And then immediately tried to console himself. Still, it's better than nothing. Following that train of thought, Junwoo quietly opened the information panel to examine it. Fire God. Unlock. Condition. The cleaner's annual salary is 60 million won. Limit breaker. Unlock condition. The cleaning team engages in a battle of 1 against at least 30. The Almighty. Unlock condition. The cleaner is hired for the best job as voted by the people. Scroll. Unlock. Condition. The cleaner's full-time conversion salary is increased by over 50%. Demon King. Unlock condition. Cannot be checked. Reading through each line slowly, he couldn't help but think dejectedly, an annual salary of over 60 million won, and getting the best job, that's impossible. Meanwhile, Junwoo's gaze unconsciously settled on the bustling crowd of people passing by on the street, causing him to fall silent for a long while. Finally, he let out a sudden sigh. Dungeon cleaning is the most dangerous job right now. But even so, it's not the only path available. Of course, there are also many easier unlock conditions. For example, round counter, unlock condition. Increase the company's profits. Hellfire, unlock condition. The cleaning team's budget is expanded. When these two conditions popped into his head at the same time, an idea sparked. Although, these things are a bit abstract. However, they opened up a new line of thinking for him. But the easier one here is increasing the company's profits. His mind immediately pictured the actions that could yield the greatest profit. If I, a former SSS-Rank hunter, cooperate perfectly with a cleaner from 10 years in the future, the company's profits will surely increase by a lot. Of course, when it comes to actually doing it, resistance from those around me is unavoidable. Naturally, they won't just listen to the opinion of a lowly cleaner. Thinking this, Junwoo immediately considered a solution. Should I contact the other people on my team first to build some trust? The very next second, he affirmed it himself. Yes, of course. With over 10,000 hunters in Korea, contacting them is a piece of cake. However, the more he thought, the more chaotic the ideas in his head became. Just like the disorderly crowd weaving through the street outside. And what Junwoo needed to do right now was to organize all of those thoughts clearly. That pent-up frustration made him suddenly burst out, yelling in annoyance and irritation. Immediately after, his angry voice echoed throughout the bus, "You passed my stop!" The sudden noise annoyed the driver, who snapped loudly, "Please keep it quiet!" A while later, Junwoo arrived at the meeting point. "What's this? Why are there only 2 people here? Is everyone else late too?" Hearing that, Sang Hyuk replied in surprise, "Didn't you see the team leader? We ran out of some materials, so he went out to buy more." Following up, So-yeon calmly added, "And Hui-jung took the day off for personal reasons." Even after the explanation, he still felt something was off and pressed on. There are only 10 minutes left. Why would he pick now to go? In response came Sang Hyuk's dissatisfied question. That's right, there are only 10 minutes left. So, why did you just show up now? Faced with the accusation, Junwoo's expression showed no hint of guilt. He just explained nonchalantly, I missed my stop. Hearing that, Sang Hyuk gave a gentle smile as if accepting the other's explanation. Then he friendly offered a can. I grabbed some coffee, have a drink while we wait. Seeing that attitude, Junwoo couldn't help but be impressed. Han Sang-hyuk's demeanor was much softer compared to the first day they met. To be honest, this was something I never imagined. Right after that, he quickly walked ahead and urged them, What are we waiting for? Let's go inside. But Sang-hyuk calmly stopped him. It's not finished yet. Junwoo turned back doubtfully and asked, What is? He only heard him reply slowly, I'm talking about the gate. The process isn't complete yet. Observing the gate before him, Junwoo sighed reluctantly. Seriously. Looking at the ruins on the other side, he thought pensively. This isn't one of the dungeons I've cleared before, but I know it's a blue rank dungeon. But then, a question popped into Junwoo's mind. This place doesn't require any complex clearing procedures. Why are they acting so serious about it? In the end, he had no choice but to go back and sit down, muttering complaints. Oh, good grief, seriously. During that brief silence, his eyes unconsciously glanced toward the gate ahead as he slowly made up his mind. Looks like I can't just go in and clear it like usual this time. I should just end it quickly. It's okay even if I make a mistake. With that thought in mind, the three of them could only wait patiently for the others to come out from inside. However, 30 minutes passed and still no one appeared. Junwoo ground his teeth, making a grating sound in pure frustration. The feeling of being kept waiting pushed him to his limit, and he couldn't take it anymore. Junwoo angrily blurted out, What kind of damn garbage are they picking up in there that's taking so long? Just as the atmosphere grew tense, So-yeon suddenly exclaimed in surprise, They're coming out! In the direction she pointed, a person wielding a large sword slowly stepped out of the gate. After that, the rest of the team members appeared one by one. Junwoo glanced at them and curled his lip in contempt. They're all just D-rankers. It's only a blue rank dungeon, and they're already in such a mess. He didn't bother to hide the sarcasm in his voice, continuing to mock them. That group's pathetic. What a bunch of useless people. Hearing this, So-yeon, standing beside him, grew flustered and quickly whispered a warning. They might hear you. Right at that moment, another slender figure stepped out from within the gate. The moment he saw her, Junwoo froze, his heart skipping a beat. That person. Minju's figure, reflected clearly in his eyes, made Junwoo completely lose his composure. Such a familiar face. His mind was dragged back to the past, every feature slowly becoming clear. Long black hair, a perfect beauty like a celebrity. Kim Min-ju. He could never forget that face. She used to be his subordinate. The moment that thought flashed through his mind, Junwoo was plunged into an indescribable horror. Why is she here? Just then, Minju suddenly looked up and their eyes met. A second later, she walked towards him without hesitation and asked bluntly, Excuse me, do you have a problem with me? Junwoo froze for a moment, then quickly regained his composure and shook his head firmly. No. But inside, his mind was in turmoil. Am I going to run into all of them here? Only when he saw Minju turn and walk away did he silently breathe a sigh of relief. I was thinking about contacting my old teammates, wasn't I? But she's the exception. Old memories resurfaced, frustrating him as he came to a conclusion. That woman had always hated him, and he had proof to back it up. When he told her she had no choice but to quit because of her injury, she immediately blew up and laid into him. Thinking back on it, Junwoo still felt annoyed. She didn't even realize he was just trying to help. Stealing a glance at Minju's retreating figure, he became even more certain of his conclusion. In short, she has a lot of pride, and he had criticized her skills. Just as Junwoo was lost in his jumbled thoughts, unable to sort them out, So-yeon's voice, tinged with a poorly hidden worry, sounded beside him. Junwoo. After a moment of hesitation, she pointed it out cautiously. Do you know that female hunter? Because you've been staring at her this whole time. Junwoo's expression remained unusually calm. He denied it firmly. No, I don't know her at all. She just looks a little like someone I used to know. Hearing that, So-yeon seemed a bit flustered and quickly replied, Oh, I see, you were just acting a little strange. Right after, as if she'd blurted it out without thinking, she casually dropped a startling question. So I thought she might be your ex-girlfriend. Junwoo immediately snapped, shouting, What the hell are you talking about? Realizing she'd gone too far, So-yeon's face instantly showed her remorse. I'm sorry, I was just kidding. Just then, Gun-tae finally arrived. Looks like everyone's here. Noticing the strange atmosphere between the two, he asked curiously, Hey, what's with this mood? Did something happen? Junwoo, having regained his composure, replied calmly, It's nothing. But the next second, Sang-hyuk exposed him with a sly grin. What do you mean, nothing? This guy just ran into his ex-girlfriend. Provoked once again, Junwoo growled, "Shut your mouth!" With that, he quickly turned and ran towards the gate, urging them on loudly. "What are you waiting for? Let's get to work." As soon as he stepped inside, he cautiously scanned his surroundings. A blue rank building-type dungeon. True to its name, it was a dungeon created from a building. The four of them stopped to discuss their plan. So Yan asked first, "Junwoo, did you ever encounter this type of dungeon when you were studying?" Hearing this, he replied seriously, "No, I don't know much either. Only that the boss is a humanoid monster." Following them, he thought cautiously to himself, "I've been asked questions like this all week about my knowledge of dungeons and monsters. Of course, studying is just an excuse, but so far no one suspects anything." By now, the group had finished their discussion. Guntae immediately assigned roles. As you all know, in a dungeon like this, the minions aren't worth worrying about. Pointing at the traces around them, he gave a stern reminder. "Just make sure every nook and cranny is cleared out, and be careful of the bloodstains under the stairs." The two responded in unison without hesitation. "Understood." After instructing them, he spoke formally. "Junwoo, come with me to the boss." Hearing the request, Junwoo calmly replied right away, "Okay." In a high-rise building, wind and dust whistled through the openings, creating an eerie sound. As soon as they went inside, Guntae covered his mouth and complained, "Oh man, I really don't like this type of monster. They look just like people." Across from them, a monster lay still on the ground. A humanoid monster, Vega. A monster with a female appearance, about 160 centimeters tall. Hearing his words, Junwoo calmly suggested, "If that's the case, we should just try to take care of it quickly." But Guntae's demeanor suddenly turned serious as he confessed, "But I still don't feel right about this." Glancing at his strange behavior, he asked, confused, "Why did you suddenly freeze up like that?" His brows furrowed, but his voice was normal as he replied, "It's nothing." Internally, alarm bells started ringing in Junwoo's mind. Something's not right. Recalling information about the monster, he pondered deeply. Fundamentally, Vega isn't a dangerous monster. As long as you can grasp its movement speed, it's not hard to defeat. But Kim Min-ju had trouble with this thing? He could say one thing for sure. 10 years ago, Kim Min-ju was already a B-rank hunter. While not the strongest, B-rank was still quite high. Ideas were now rapidly forming in Junwoo's mind. If she hadn't gotten injured, she could have easily reached S-rank. He was sure Min-ju had more than enough power to defeat this monster. Back then, her abilities even surpassed his in some respects. Internally, he was both annoyed and impressed. Yeah, even though her personality is a pain, she's the real deal when it comes to strength. The more he thought about it, the more suspicious it all seemed. How could a blue-rank boss give her trouble? Just then, Guntae's voice broke him out of his thoughts. "Hey, why are you just spacing out? Don't tell me you plan on leaving me to handle this thing alone." Junwoo replied apologetically, "Something just occurred to me." Following his gaze down to the monster, he made a decision internally. "That's right. There's nothing I can do right now. I'm sure I'll get another chance to see her again." Suddenly, he noticed something strange on Vega's body. At the same time, a voice echoed in his mind. "My back." Junwoo immediately made a connection. "Wait a minute. That slash mark." His face suddenly twisted in horror. "Don't tell me she—" One morning, before the sun had even begun to rise, Junwoo was already up for work, feeling incredibly sleepy. It was 5 a.m. and I think I'd only gotten about 2 hours of sleep. We'd been unlucky for 3 days straight. Looking at the gate leading to the cleanup area, Junwoo could only sigh to himself. Even when I was a hunter, my schedule was never this packed. Even Sang Hyuk is pissed off by this insane schedule. Damn it, if they knew it was going to be like this, they should have just finished up and then called us. When exactly is this going to end? Seeing his team member getting annoyed about it, Guntae teased with a slight raise of his eyebrow. "I don't know. It's not the first time this has happened. Late is late, I guess, but that didn't do much to improve his mood. They should at least think about the people who have to wait." After going through this ordeal for the past few days, even a former hunter like Junwoo had to sympathize with them. Well, it's already been over an hour past the scheduled time. Of course they're frustrated. Just then a voice suddenly called out, "You look pretty tired." Recognizing who it was, he slowly turned his head to ask, "Ah, yeah, what about you?" But before he could finish, So-yeon, who looked utterly exhausted, cut in. "I've always had great stamina." Since she said so herself, Junwoo didn't press further, thinking to himself, "Are you sure you're okay?" But after a moment's thought, he couldn't help but offer a piece of advice. "Don't push yourself too hard." This made So-yeon blush with embarrassment. "Huh? Ah, okay." Just then, Guntae spoke up from behind. "They're finally coming out." Watching the hunters emerge one by one from the dungeon, Sang Hyun could only grit his teeth and announce, 1 hour and 30 minutes. Meanwhile, Junwoo was annoyed about something else. Damn it, not again. Because this time, Min-ju was part of the hunter group. There are so many dungeons and hunters in this world, so why do we have to keep running into each other? The two of them suddenly made eye contact, but neither spoke a word. As is custom, they both moved to the side to avoid each other, but failed. Even when they tried to move to the other side, their path was blocked. After several attempts, the tension between them grew thicker than ever. Finally, Minju broke free from the awkward situation, complaining, "Why do you keep getting in my way?" This made Junwoo's blood boil. The disrespectful brat. Just then, he happened to see her massaging her aching right shoulder. He was reminded of an image of Minju getting injured in the past. Junwoo wondered anxiously, should I tell her? But then, he clicked his tongue. Why bother caring? Just thinking about the past pisses me off. He remembered the time in his past life when he visited Minju in the hospital. She was a little surprised to see her captain. "You're here." Although he offered a few perfunctory questions on the surface, "How's your body?" his disgust grew. Her superior is standing right in front of her, and she doesn't even get up to greet him. Hearing her injury mentioned, Minju couldn't hide her sadness as she replied, "The surgery wasn't long ago, so I'm not sure." Junwoo clicked his tongue and said dismissively, "How can a swordsman ignore their own swollen muscles until they tear like that?" Only then did he belatedly offer advice. "You should have worked on improving your left hand's grip strength. Blindly trusting the power of your sword arm is why your shoulder is torn to shreds. You need to combine that with proper rest." Faced with such late advice, Minju felt even more wronged. "Then why didn't you tell me sooner?" But Junwoo didn't catch her tone, and even blamed her in return. "What? What's with that tone of voice?" The next second, he stood with his hands on his hips, criticizing her. "You're only saying that because you regret what happened." As he spoke, Junwoo pulled a form from his coat. "Anyway, you can't continue as a hunter in this condition." Finally, he threw it down in front of Minju. "Retire." "What?" She was completely shocked. "Are you saying—" Without waiting for her to finish, Junwoo cut in and announced, "All the executives in the association have already agreed." Everything happened so suddenly that Minju felt as if she had fallen into a deep abyss. As for him, he paid no mind to the patient's feelings and just rambled on. "If you keep pushing yourself, forget being a hunter, you won't even manage your daily life." Finally, she couldn't hold it in any longer and her voice broke through. "How could you do this?" Minju's whole body couldn't stop trembling. "This injury is nothing. Captain, you know why I had to become a hunter." Junwoo calmly sat down in a nearby chair and stated coolly, "What are you talking about? In your current condition, you're just a burden to the team. It's already been decided. Just do as you're told." He even started to blame her. "If you were hurt, you should have told me. Why did you have to hide it until it got this serious?" She couldn't believe the words he had just uttered. "I should have told you," Junwoo replied nonchalantly, as if it were the most obvious thing. "Yes, you stubborn fool. Don't tell me you thought I wouldn't be sympathetic about your injury." That was what pushed Minju's rage to its peak. "I did tell you. I'm sure I told you many times. And when I said I wanted the support team to do a full checkup, you were the one who said no one is ever perfectly fine and told me to get back to work." A memory of her clutching her injured arm, coming to him for help. But Junwoo didn't care, and even said with a contemptuous look, "Does she think she's the only one in pain?" All the resentment that had built up inside Minju finally exploded. Tears streamed down her face uncontrollably. "Whose fault is it that I've had to endure this all this time? Whose fault is it that I ended up like this? And you're telling me to quit?" Junwoo obviously didn't admit he was wrong, and even yelled in her face, "Nonsense! How is it my fault?" He grew increasingly irritable and continued his tirade. "Did I break your shoulder? It's your body, so take care of it yourself. Why are you blaming someone else now? What kind of idiot goes back to work just because I told them to?" Minju couldn't say a single word in response. She tried to use what little pride she had left to beg for a chance. "Even so, I can do it, after a few days to recover." And obviously, Junwoo didn't care one bit. He continued to show his contempt for her. "Who's going to cover for you during those few days? And what can you do with a shoulder like that? You're a swordsman. If you want to live like a parasite, go join the cleanup crew." Minju was suddenly choked up, but she couldn't stop herself from asking one question. "Captain, did you ever, even once, see me as a comrade?" Junwoo seemed taken aback by the question. "What? What the hell are you talking about all of a sudden?" Understanding the hidden meaning in his reaction, she gave a cold smirk. "My apologies. I shouldn't have asked. Someone like me is only meant to be a tool, to be thrown away after being used." But Junwoo didn't understand at all. Her cryptic words only made him more irritable than ever. "So you're finally showing your true colors. I never liked you from the start. You have no respect for your superiors. And just because I felt a little guilty toward you, you treated me like a joke," Minju said through her tears. "That's right. I hate you. You never treated your subordinates like human beings." Every word she spoke seemed to strike a nerve in Junwoo. "Right. It's always that look." "You damn parasite." You from the cleaning crew. I don't care about anything you have to say anymore, so please. With that, Minju slapped Junwoo hard across the face. Her eyes filled with utter hatred and disgust. She cursed her former team captain. I hope you're reborn as a human in your next life, you bastard. The memory of the past finally faded. It was only then that Junwoo realized. Thinking back on it now, I was completely wrong. She did tell me about an injury. Perhaps because his conscience was stirring, he kept asking himself, I really don't remember. I'm sure I just told her to stop faking it and get back to work as a passing thought, without any other hidden meaning. Watching Minju's retreating back and the wound on her shoulder, Junwoo began to drift into thought. If she hadn't been injured, she probably would have become someone amazing. Don't tell me this is starting now. These thoughts stopped him from moving forward. He could only let out a sigh. This is such a pain. In the end, Junwoo turned back and called out, Hey! Making Minju freeze for a moment. Yes? Since it was his first time showing any goodwill, he was indescribably awkward. Improve your left-hand grip strength. And because the advice was so unexpected, she was even more bewildered. What did you just say? Junwoo slowly began to explain. When you hold your sword, you focus all your strength in your right hand, and that puts a strain on your shoulder. He even mimicked Minju's sword stance as an example. Although you can strike quickly with your current form, your right shoulder will be overloaded soon enough. As he spoke, Junwoo made another downward slashing motion. Your left hand can help reduce the burden on your body. Plus, once you can balance both hands, your power will increase significantly. Though she didn't take it seriously, Minju still gave a perfunctory reply. Okay. That very attitude made Junwoo's advice seem pathetic. Her expression practically screamed, what would a janitor know? In the end, he could only walk sullenly into the dungeon. Whatever. She's a smart hunter, I'm sure she'll figure it out. Go see the support team and get it checked. He left Minju standing there, completely clueless about what had just happened. What on earth is he talking about? That morning at the hospital for a checkup, the doctor said cheerfully, luckily it's not too serious yet. The sudden statement made Minju pause for a beat. I'm sorry? The doctor gently pointed to a spot on the x-ray and explained, your right shoulder muscle is swollen. It's fine for now, but if you leave it, it could lead to severe consequences. He rambled on about a few things. First, I'll prescribe some anti-inflammatory medicine, but changing your stance is more important. After the doctor finished, Minju hesitantly asked, what do you mean by that? The doctor, thinking she didn't understand, explained, your current overall balance is too low. I recommend you increase the grip strength of your left hand. Upon hearing that, Minju immediately remembered Junwoo's advice from that time. Improve the grip strength of your left hand. After mulling it over, she finally came to a conclusion. That weird janitor definitely said the same thing. The long day passed in an instant, with the sun gradually disappearing behind the tall buildings. Both Junwoo's mental and physical energy had completely hit rock bottom. I'm seriously about to die. Only Gun-tae was still energetic after a long day. Good work, everyone. A second later, he was surprised to hear Sang-hyun snap at him. Hey, how could you do that? I'm dead tired here. Leaving him completely confused. What do you want? He glanced over at Minju waiting up ahead and declared, how could you make your ex-girlfriend wait this long? Looking at her incredibly familiar face, Junwoo had only one question. Why is she here? Minju's appearance made Jinwoo's jaw drop. Why is she here at this hour? Meanwhile, their colleagues were gossiping behind them. See? Didn't I tell you that was his ex-girlfriend? We should probably stay out of it, right? Yeah. Realizing they were being third wheels, Gun-tae and Sang-hyuk turned to leave. Well then, see you all tomorrow. Someone must be really happy right now. Hearing that, he glared at them and cursed under his breath. Damn it! Next, Junwoo crossed his arms and showed his annoyance as Minju approached with her sword. What is it? I'm really tired right now and I need to catch the last bus before it leaves, you know. With a decisive swing, the sharp blade of her sword was pressed against his neck. Minju's eyes widened and her tone turned icy. How did you know? What are you? Her outrageous action made him choke with anger. Is she really holding a sword to my neck? But she was determined to interrogate him. Why aren't you answering? I'm asking how you knew. Junwoo was visibly annoyed. What are you talking about? So Minju got straight to the point. About my shoulder. Are you going to pretend you don't know now? A relieved thought flashed through his mind. Looks like she got it checked out then. Despite that, Junwoo maintained a tough facade. I was just pretending that I knew. He continued to explain as normally as possible. I wanted to give some tips to hunters about some things I learned on the internet. Minju's gaze was sharp as she repeated his words. You saw it on the internet? Then, she used it against him. The swordsmanship I use is supposed to be kept completely secret. Revealing it to outsiders is strictly forbidden, but you seem to fully understand its special stance and the muscles it utilizes. At that moment, his face froze as he recalled his own foolish words. With your current stance, your right shoulder will be overloaded soon enough. Sweat started to form on his forehead and his eyes revealed extreme panic. Damn it. I didn't need to butt in and make her suspicious of me. Her swordsmanship must be really special. He gritted his teeth as he thought of the consequences. That's not something a dungeon cleaner would know. If this continues, it'll be reported to the association, and I'll be suspected of being a spy from the outside. Meanwhile, Minju was still radiating killing intent. You're really suspicious. In the end, Junwoo had to find a reason to distract her. I saw the sword wounds on the monster's corpses. As expected, his words surprised her. Sword wounds? With a resolute expression, he confirmed with certainty, yes, there was something that stood out among the myriad of wounds. Then, relying on the image in his memory, Junwoo began to analyze thoroughly. The wounds that required right-hand strength were very deep, but the accompanying techniques were quite shallow. That's when I realized they were wounds caused by a swordsman who lacked strength in their left arm. The more he spoke, the more serious his expression became. Vega is a boss monster characterized by its high attack speed, but other than that, it's not really a major threat. Next, he pointed out an anomaly in Minju's fighting style. Taking advantage of high speed and using counterattacks is a well-known method, but there was no sign of that happening. There's no way someone as skilled as you wouldn't know that method. Finally, Junwoo calmly concluded his analysis. Her body couldn't keep up and respond to Vega's speed. That's the conclusion I reached. The sharp pain in her shoulder at that moment, coupled with this speculation, made her eyes widen. At this, she finally lowered her sword and admitted the truth. It's true. My shoulder was overloaded for a moment. After regaining Minju's trust, he continued the discussion naturally. Yes, the symptoms would be very minor in daily life, but I'm sure you felt it in situations where you had to move your body instantly, especially since you're a swordsman. But for a moment, Junwoo frowned slightly as he recalled the past. The reason I can give advice like this despite not even being a swordsman is quite simple. It's because in my days as a hunter, I was the top in the world at all ranks. Across from him, she suddenly became hesitant. Just as I thought. You... Minju's eyes suddenly lit up as she placed a hand on his shoulder. You're a freelance hunter, aren't you? Though his expression stiffened from being found out, Junwoo still tried to brush it off. What nonsense are you talking about? But her conviction was incredibly strong. I heard there are a few of them in Seoul, too. Minju's fist suddenly clenched, her tone becoming certain. A-rank freelance hunters. They're Korea's top hunters, but they don't reveal their identities unless they're clearing high-risk dungeons. Or, are you a high-ranking hunter from a private guild? No matter what she said, he adamantly denied it. What are you talking about? I'm not a hunter. That attitude made her pause. What? Then, what are you? What? At this, Junwoo picked his ear and stated bluntly, Can't you tell by looking? A janitor. He then just coldly walked away while Minju stood there, stunned. That should be answer enough, right? I have to work tomorrow, so I'll be leaving now. He was quite satisfied with how he handled it. That was a smart answer. If I were a skilled hunter, she would have already planned to benefit from it. Sorry, but right now I'm just a dungeon janitor. I'm not even sure we have any reason to see each other again. However, Junwoo's entire body froze when he heard Minju's reply. Thank you. He immediately turned his head back with a look of disbelief. What? Junwoo's brows furrowed and his pupils constricted as if he'd just been struck by lightning. What did she just say? She's grateful, Kim Minju, to me? After that confession, her cheeks flushed and she scratched her face, a little flustered. And, I'm sorry to bother you, but if you don't mind... Not long after, a somewhat surprised voice echoed in the modern Twin Tower building. A break? So suddenly? Inside the office, Minju was explaining her reason. Yes, even the support team thinks I should rest for a bit. The man sitting with his back to her asked probingly, Is it because of the test results you received back then? She calmly confirmed, Yes. His fingers, resting on the arm of the chair, twitched slightly. A break just because your shoulder hurts a little? This was the captain of Operations Team 1, Lee Soo-young, who had just taken the position last month thanks to his connections. Only 5 years older than Kim Minju, he raised an eyebrow disdainfully. Back in my day, I wouldn't have even considered something like this. Despite this, Minju calmly revealed her plan. Yes, I'm planning to work on some self-development. But he had other ideas. Self-development? How pointless. Are you planning to go on a trip with your boyfriend or something? Hearing that, she immediately refuted. No, it's not like that. Soo-young continued to press her. Then what is it? Minju had no choice but to explain more clearly. To try and learn some new sword skills. But he tilted his head and looked at her with annoyance. Are you planning to join some kind of academy? She explained again, No, it's just some private lessons. However, that didn't stop Soo-young's wild speculations. Private lessons? Did you meet some martial arts master somewhere, or is it a boyfriend? Though frustrated, Minju just sighed before revealing the truth. It's a janitor. He didn't seem to hear clearly. What? So she patiently repeated, he's a janitor from the dungeon cleaning team. After learning everything, Su Young openly criticized her with a stern attitude. Now what? You have no one else to learn from, so you're going to some janitor to learn swordsmanship. And you, a capable hunter at that, you'd be better off finishing your studies at the Kendo Academy. But Minju was unwavering. I'll take care of it myself. Just then, Su Young suddenly asked a shocking question. Don't tell me that janitor was the one who told you to get checked. Her eyes widened in astonishment. How did he know? The support team must have... An image of the smiling nurse flashed back to her. Oh my, Hunter Kim Minju. I've been seeing you often lately. Is there a problem? Minju herself had only given a vague answer. It's just... Returning to the present, she couldn't help but feel annoyed. That nurse. Meanwhile, Su Young pointed his finger and asked insistently, that bastard is hilarious, isn't he? What can a measly janitor possibly teach a hunter? However, Minju still defended Junwoo. He hasn't said he'll teach me yet. His brows suddenly furrowed. What? She then explained clearly, I asked him before, but he refused me. But this only infuriated Su Young. Are you kidding me? He said he won't teach you, so what are you planning to learn? Minju tried to endure it by closing her eyes tightly. I will contact him again until he agrees. Her stubbornness left him at a loss, so he had no choice but to accept. Whatever. Do as you please. A large-scale raid will take place in a few weeks, so make sure you're back before then. At this, she bowed her head respectfully. Thank you, sir. Su Young held his forehead and waved his hand dismissively. Get out, you're giving me a headache. As the office door closed softly, the atmosphere inside suddenly became silent. This only highlighted his scornful voice. This guild is going downhill. It's completely rotten. What can a hunter possibly learn from a janitor? With his hands clasped, Su Young began to ponder. If the other teams hear about this, what will they think of our team? Especially if it reaches the ears of the captain of operations team 2. His brows immediately knitted together as an idea struck him. You said the cleaning team, right? Su Young decisively picked up the desk phone. Just thinking about it gives me the chills. As soon as the call connected, he introduced himself coldly. This is Lee Su Young, captain of operations team 1. Is the managing director there? The person on the other end replied politely, Yes, sir, he is. What can I do for you? The order was quickly given. Put him on the line immediately. I have something to discuss. A few days later, a brilliant orb of light appeared between two sturdy stone pillars. Behind a gas mask, someone's carefree humming could be heard. Looking at Junwoo, Sang-hyuk pointed to his own head. He's finally gone crazy. Because of the information on the notice board, interest in the dungeon cleaning team among the association members has increased. Skill acquired. Rewind has been unlocked. That's why I'm in such a good mood. I need to clean. I wonder if it will rain this afternoon. A few days ago, a skill was unlocked. I didn't do anything, so why was the restriction lifted? Don't they say the ends justify the means? While he was lost in thought, Jun-tae suddenly called out, Hey, Junwoo! He hurriedly replied, What is it? The older man hesitated before speaking. I don't want to meddle in your personal life. Then he pointed towards Minju and asked bluntly, But why is that person here? Junwoo's answer was firm. I brought her here. But Jun-tae became even more furious upon hearing that. Of course you did. It's not like I brought her here. So he tried to reason with him. It's just that we don't know when Mr. Huijang will return. Wouldn't it be better to have one more person working with us? On the other side, Sang-hyuk saw Minju diligently mopping the floor and offered, Do you need a mop? That scene made Jun-tae even more worried. That's true, but she's a hunter. What if the association hears that she's cleaning a place like this? In his heart, Junwoo wanted to retort, I didn't bring her here because I wanted to. Seeing his prolonged silence, the man prodded him again. Hey, are you even listening, Junwoo? Backtracking to an earlier time, Minju knelt on the ground and said sincerely, Teach me swordsmanship, master. Junwoo's face soured. Did she eat something weird? What kind of hunter asks a janitor for lessons? This is going to be a pain. How can I get rid of her? He crossed his arms and reluctantly set a condition. If you help me clean, I'll think about it. Because he knew deep down this was impossible. I'm sure a B-rank hunter would hate doing a dungeon janitor's job. To his surprise, she became even more enthusiastic. Is just helping you clean enough? Her expression left Junwoo speechless. I didn't see this coming. Back in the present, he could only scratch his head as he watched her work diligently. Anyway, I think I underestimated her. I thought she had a huge ego, but I didn't know she wouldn't mind doing jobs like this. The more he thought about it, the more mentally exhausted Junwoo became. How did things turn out this way? But from So-yeon's perspective, his eyes were filled with worry. She decided to observe his every move in silence while Junwoo gritted his teeth. Anyway, I'm telling you all, she has always been an incredibly stubborn person. In So-yeon's current, exaggerated view, Min-ju's meek appearance looked like she was being wronged, while Jun-woo's gaze became affectionate. This made her brow furrow and sweat start to bead on her face. Thanks to these details, So-yeon sensed something suspicious was going on. This atmosphere is so... Jun-woo looked annoyed. He gently rubbed his temples as he thought, I'm going to lose my mind. I really underestimated Kim Min-ju. I never thought she would follow me all the way here. Speak of the devil! Min-ju suddenly shouted an announcement. Master, this spot isn't clean yet! This made him furious, and he yelled, I told you not to call me that! Who are you calling master, huh? Despite that, Jun-woo still walked over, pointed at the stain, and asked, Do you really think you can clean that with your strength alone? Hearing that, Min-ju became even more flustered, trying to scrub the stubborn stain harder. So what then? Seeing how clueless she was, he could only guide her step by step. Look, this is human blood, and that's monster blood. If the two types of blood are mixed like this, don't try to clean them at the same time. First, you have to use a rag to wipe the human blood, then deal with the rest with fire, understand? This new knowledge, which Min-ju was hearing for the first time, immediately helped her understand many things. Yes, I understand. Jun-woo continued to explain as he took a knife out from his person. Also, this stuff that's stuck on here is monster flesh. To clean it, you need a lot of solution, so instead just gently scrape it off with a dagger. As he spoke, he used a little force to flick off a piece of flesh stuck to the ground. With just a few simple moves, Jun-woo easily removed the excess flesh from the ground. Put all this scraped-off trash in one place. After cleaning the area spotless, he didn't forget to mention a few important things. If you use a dagger, remember to wipe it immediately. Monster blood might corrode it. Seeing Jun-woo's professionalism, Min-ju was even more impressed. Okay, her attitude immediately made his face light up. What's with that face? You don't want to do it? Having a hunter do something like this is a bit... In that moment, all Jun-woo wanted was to send her far away. Just go already. But unexpectedly, it sparked an indescribable interest in Min-ju. No, I was just thinking that cleaning is quite profound. This left him speechless. You're really not a normal person, are you? Jun-tae, who had been listening to their conversation, also felt cheerful and praised him. Now Jun-woo is finally an official janitor. I don't know if there's anything left for me to teach you. Being praised, Jun-woo smiled shyly and said, This is nothing, really. But then he was shocked to realize something was wrong. Memories from his past life as a hunter fighting monsters suddenly resurfaced in Min-ju. This is so meaningless. What's so great about me standing here laughing like this? Me, who was once an SSS-Rank hunter, am now standing here proud of becoming an official janitor. Even after realizing that truth, he could only swallow his tears. Damn it. Taking this opportunity, Geun-tae casually offered a compliment. Hunter Nim, for your first time, you did pretty well. Min-ju asked doubtfully, Really? In So-yeon's exaggerated point of view, that scene was him proudly praising, That's our Min-ju, which made her blush. Even Master is... This is so embarrassing. And Jun-woo was incredibly proud of his girl. It's great to supervise you two. Perhaps because of that, she didn't have a chance to join the conversation of the three of them. A long while later in that area of the dungeon. After finishing her work, Min-ju came to report. Master, I've finished this area, so I should... But before she could finish, So-yeon interrupted by grabbing her hand. Then let's go over there together, shall we, team leader? Geun-tae asked suspiciously. She replied with a half smile. There are a lot of corpses over there. Will that be okay? If not now, when else will I get the chance to work with you, Hunter Nim? You don't mind, right? Seeing her menacing look, she could only comply. No. So-yeon, waiting only for that, led the person away right in front of Sang-hyuk and Jun-woo. Well then, we'll be back soon. After the two left, he suddenly said in a suggestive tone, I bet the hunter will win. And you? He replied without a thought. Me too. After moving to the next room, So-yeon started to panic. What should I do? She couldn't stop fidgeting with her fingers out of anxiety while standing next to Min-ju. I was too impulsive, so I brought her here. But now I'm not even sure what to say. Even? So-yeon herself didn't understand what she was trying to do. Why did I have to do something I've never done before? But this is so annoying. Min-ju immediately and astutely noticed her unusual state and asked with concern, You look quite tired. Are you okay? This made... So-yeon flustered. What? Of course I'm fine. She could only force a smile when she spoke so directly. I have my doubts. In the end, So-yeon had to admit, Actually, I haven't been sleeping well these past few days. Min-ju asked with concern, Is something keeping you up at night? She stammered, trying to explain, No, it's not that something is keeping me from sleeping. But as if realizing she'd been rude, So-yeon quickly changed the subject. Anyway, let's not talk about me. Let's talk about you instead. Honestly, this is the first time I've ever spoken to a hunter. Hearing the question about herself, Minju didn't seem very enthusiastic. I don't have any interesting topics to talk about, except maybe for the fact that I followed in my father's footsteps and became a hunter. But that alone was enough to impress an ordinary person like So-Yan. Your father was a hunter too? Did you two work together? And just like that, the question seemed to touch a nerve. No, he was discharged because of a shoulder injury. Minju suddenly remembered what her father had to endure after his superiors told him to stop faking his injury and do his job properly. She also remembered the scornful looks from his colleagues and how the people who fought alongside him turned their backs on him. He endured it, all while working, afraid of becoming a burden to those around him. That just made his injury worse and worse. Hearing something like that might make a normal person feel pity. Unbelievable! How could his colleagues do that? But to a hunter like Minju, it was nothing. No. When she saw the whole world turn its back on her father, even at a young age, she saw how heartless this industry is. In the association, there's no such thing as colleagues. There are only people ranked above you or below you. My father was a B ranker, right up until he was discharged. Back then, even though she felt sorry for her father, Minju understood. Who would care about a middle-aged B-rank hunter? Remembering his slightly stooped back, she knew exactly what people thought of her father. He was just a disposable tool. Now, speaking about her situation, Minju said it so lightly, as if it were someone else's story. Anyway, that's the association in a nutshell. A place where rank is everything, extremely harsh on the weak and extremely lenient with the strong. Unexpectedly, she drew a direct conclusion. That's also true for the hunters I work with. But the cleaning crew, they're not like that at all. At this, the air between the two of them suddenly fell silent. Finally, Minju had to ask directly, "You have a thing for him, don't you?" So-Yan's face flushed. Is it that obvious? Seeing her give herself away like that, Minju chuckled and replied, "Anyone can tell." When the topic came up, So-Yan became flustered, not knowing where to start. Well, in just a moment, images of Junwoo flooded her mind. He works so well and has a strong sense of responsibility. He didn't do anything on his first day and was even late on the second, so I thought he'd quit right away. But now he works harder than anyone. Just thinking about it, So-Yan couldn't help but gush. He also knows dungeons and monsters like the back of his hand. What he says is even more accurate than the data from the control team, and he even knows information that doesn't show up on the data sheets. Because she let her guard down, Minju quickly gathered a lot of information. I see. Remembering how Junwoo was that day, a series of analyses ran through her mind. That guy, he's really not just some ordinary janitor. With just a few traces left on the corpse, he could deduce the condition of the person who took it down. What's more, he knows more about dungeons and monsters than even the control team. Finally, for some reason, Minju came to a firm conclusion. That's more than enough reason not to let him get away. Despite thinking this, she didn't forget to turn and say to So-Yan, "Anyway, don't worry, I'm not interested in him like that." This left So-Yan a little confused. Really? Then why are you hanging around him all day? Minju almost immediately declared, "Like I said, the association is extremely harsh on the weak and extremely lenient with the strong. It's such a bullshit double standard, I can't stand it." Her hand clenched into a fist, showing her determination. "Because of that, I need to get stronger. To do that, I need his help." So-Yan was completely surprised to hear this. "So you're saying..." So she casually dropped a line that made Minju freeze. "Aren't you his ex-girlfriend?" A long while later, Sang-hyuk was the first to speak up, announcing to the guys there, "Here they are." Minju was chatting as they walked. I mean, there are always those kinds of superiors, right? The ones who try way too hard to act cool and show off in front of you. It wasn't clear what they were specifically talking about, but So-Yan was walking and laughing, saying, "That's so true. I've had that happen before, too." Looking at the friendly scene before him, Junwoo just felt it was incredibly bizarre. How the hell did they get so close? Finally, their group reached the final gate of the dungeon. "All right, like I said before, the boss here is a monster with a deadly poison. I'm sure everyone will be fine, but let's be extra careful today." Gunti kept reminding them, "As long as it doesn't make direct contact with your skin, you'll be fine. So don't worry too much." After he finished, scattered replies were heard. "Yes." "Okay." Just then, Gyuntai suddenly called out, "So-Yan." It made So-Yan jump. "Yes?" He had noticed something was off about her earlier. "What's with you? Is something wrong? Your reactions are slower than usual." So-Yan explained while lightly tugging at her suit. "My hazmat suit is a bit uncomfortable, especially today. The gas mask makes it a little harder to breathe, too." But afraid of holding things up, she told everyone, "However, I don't think it will affect my work." This made Junwoo and Sang-hyuk notice their own gear. "Now that you mention it, isn't it time to replace our equipment? Ask the association for a budget increase. If we keep working like this, an accident is bound to happen. What is this, a uniform from the Korean War?" Gyuntae replied helplessly, "You think I haven't tried that? What am I supposed to do if they say they don't have the money? Hearing that, he could only sigh. They're really working us to death, keeping all the money for themselves. In the end, he had to change the subject by turning to the final gate. Come on, that's enough of that. Let's go in. Let's at least try to make do with the hazmat suits we have. The gate opened quickly, revealing a white space inside. The next scene they faced was a pile of monster corpses and the defeated final boss. Before starting the cleanup, Guntai repeatedly emphasized, "Everyone, make sure you're careful. Don't let it touch your skin." For a former hunter like Junwoo, it wasn't hard to recognize that the maximum slime boss monster looked like an ordinary pile of goo. Junwoo himself was already used to such tragic scenes, so he wasn't too surprised. But if you're exposed to the deadly poison and the foul stench for a long time, you'll get poisoned. The golden time is a mere 5 minutes. If you get poisoned in this dungeon, it's hopeless. Looking at a goblin that had already been corroded by the poison, he reminded himself, we have to be more careful than usual. A moment later, the sounds of cleanup quickly echoed throughout the dungeon. Gyuntae, carrying a trash bag on his shoulder, came over and asked, "Junwoo, Sang-hyuk, are you guys okay?" Even though they were busy working, the 2 young men politely replied, "Yes." He continued to ask each person in turn, "Are you all right, Hunter?" Minju nonchalantly replied, "Yes." Finally, Guntae approached So-yeon to check on her. "What about you, So-yeon?" But when she didn't answer for a while, he lightly touched her shoulder and called out, "So-yeon!" But they never expected that in the next second, So-yeon would collapse right in front of them. Everyone was shocked and cried out in alarm, "So-yeon!" The incident happened so suddenly that the 3 on Junwoo's side were in deep shock. "So-yeon!" Gyuntae was the first to react, rushing to catch So-yeon's uncontrollably trembling body. "So-yeon, what's wrong? Wake up!" A sharp team member noticed her face was now deathly pale. "Captain, So-yeon doesn't look good." After a quick assessment, Sang-hyuk reported in shock, "I think her gas mask is malfunctioning, and her protective gear is torn too." Hearing this, Guntae immediately shouted to the others, "Outside! Get her outside first! Call the support team now!" Witnessing this, Junwoo felt a pang of guilt. I should have told her to be more careful. And now it's come to this. Meanwhile, the 2 below were relentlessly urging him, "Junwoo, let's get So-yeon out of here, hurry!" Looking at So-yeon's trembling hand, he felt utterly powerless. "I'm sorry, but it's too late. The support team can't possibly make it within the golden window of 5 minutes and detoxify her." From her condition, Junwoo could tell that being poisoned by the Maxima slime caused excruciating, unbearable pain throughout the body. Guntae, having no experience with this, could only try to comfort her. "Just hang in there for a bit, So-yeon. The support team will be here soon. Hey!" While Sang-hyuk was about to lose his mind, "Kim Junwoo, what are you doing? You idiot, do something!" But in that moment, he called out, "Kim Minju," which left Minju stunned. "Huh?" Junwoo didn't explain, but directly commanded, "Take out your sword!" This shocked her, and her mind started racing. "What are you planning to do? Don't tell me. You're going to... Ms. So-yeon?" He remained silent, making even the good-natured Guntae furious. "Junwoo, what's wrong with you, you son of a bitch? If anything happens to So-yeon, I won't let you get away with it." Junwoo was completely unaffected by those words. His gaze sharpened like never before. "There's no time. Use your sword. Hurry up." After a moment, Junwoo finally added another sentence, as if to reassure her. "It's not hard. You just need to make one slash, like cracking a whip." Minju didn't understand what he was planning and tried her best to stop him. "Master, whatever it is, I can't bring myself to attack Ms. So-yeon. If you think it over, I'm sure you'll find another way." He slowly cut her off. "Not Ms. So-yeon, me." Guntae didn't understand either, thinking Junwoo was stalling for time, so he yelled, "Junwoo, please! So-yeon is in critical condition right now." But Junwoo paid no attention to his words, only urging Minju, "So be gentle, Kim Minju. Now." Her reaction time suddenly slowed, as if she were processing whether this was really happening. Finally, Minju shut her eyes tightly and decided to follow Junwoo's command. "All right." As she spoke, she raised her hand into the empty air beside her. "I don't know what you're thinking, but..." With that, Minju quickly summoned her soul-bound sword. "Summon!" The moment the brilliant sword was drawn from its sheath was also the moment she activated her skill. It was then that Junwoo slowly realized something was very wrong. "Wait, I never told you to use a skill." But it was all too late. He took the full brunt of a sword slash across his chest from the move, unsheathing dance. As crimson liquid trickled from between his teeth, Junwoo cursed inwardly, "Could you just listen to what I say?" As the ground was gradually stained red by the rust-smelling liquid, the system activated. Activating Soul Strike. Before the stunned eyes of the other 2, Junwoo received an instruction. "Assume a combat stance," while he clutched the wound on his chest. "Damn, that hurts." With all preparations complete, he slowly turned his head and said, "I'll take Ms. So-yeon to the support team first. I'll meet you all there." which left Gyun-tae stunned for a moment. Huh? But a second later, he unleashed another tirade. What nonsense are you talking about? In that battered state, even by taxi, it would take at least 30 minutes to get to the support team from here. Before he could finish his words, something flashed past in an instant, taking So-yeon away right before their eyes. After that, all they could see was a streak of light shooting straight out of the dungeon. And that streak of light was Jun-woo, with an unconscious So-yeon on his back. By activating a speed skill, he was able to carry her as he dashed forward. As he ran, Jun-woo urged himself on. I have to be faster. I only have 3 minutes. Late that night at Republic Hospital, Gyun-tae cried with tears of joy. Thank you, doctor. Seeing the family visiting, the doctor reminded them. That was a close call. Thank heavens you all arrived within the golden window. You were very lucky. You can check on her condition and go in to see her now. Listening, Gyun-tae kept bowing his head to show his gratitude. Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much. A second later, the doctor raised an eyebrow towards someone else. And that young man is... When asked, Jun-woo immediately stood straight and reported, I am Kim Jun-woo. Actually, the doctor just had a few words of advice regarding money matters. Mr. Jun-woo, before you leave, remember to stop by the hospital's reception desk and pay the fee for the stitches. He answered through gritted teeth, I know. At that moment, he just wanted to curse a few times to let off steam. Good grief. He's even charging me for just a few stitches. After a long while, So-yeon finally woke up. In front of her were countless pairs of eyes staring straight ahead. After a moment, Sang Hyuk finally spoke up, scolding her in frustration. Moon So-yeon, are you trying to worry us to death? Gyun-tae didn't want to be harsh, so he just grumbled a few words. If there's a problem, you have to speak up, you know? This kid... Which left So-yeon flustered, not knowing what to do. I'm sorry. In the end, he still couldn't hold back his anger and let out a curse. Torn protective gear and a broken breathing mask. Just how old is that equipment? Hearing that, Gyun-tae quickly tried to calm him down. Hey, don't swear in the hospital! But Sang Hyuk didn't listen. Next, he said something even harsher. What's the point? It doesn't change the fact that using protective gear for over half a year is just too shabby. Those stupid hunters just have to say the word, and they get all new gear. And look at us! Gyun-tae had to keep signaling him with his eyes. Hey, you! Because of that, he became even more indignant and even snapped, Did I say something wrong? The moment he saw Minju standing there silently, Sang Hyuk explained sheepishly, I wasn't saying it was the hunter's fault. She was very sympathetic about it. It's okay. After they finished talking, Gyun-tae looked down at So-yeon sternly and said, In any case, you should take this opportunity to rest. I will look into it and handle this technical malfunction. Though his mind was still a bit flustered, he reacted quickly. Look into it? A technical malfunction? Meanwhile, she was somewhat confused. Did he say that wrong? He explained calmly, Of course. You were clearly injured while on the job. Don't worry about it anymore and... In the middle of the serious discussion, So-yeon was startled to see her beloved leave the room. Jun-woo? Where are you going? Jun-woo replied coldly. I'm going out for some air. His steps were steady as he slowly walked out of the hospital room. As he roamed the hospital corridor, Jun-woo thought about what they had said in the room. Miss So-yeon suffered a workplace accident due to old equipment. After a few seconds of silence, he slowly spoke his assessment. This is even better than I thought. Because at that moment, the system had unexpectedly popped up a notification. Hellfire Dungeon open. The dungeon cleanup crew's funds have been expanded. He could only remark to himself, what perfect timing to propose a budget increase. Somehow, Jun-woo knew he could take advantage of this. By using this incident as a reminder, the association would have no choice but to help in order to protect their image. The thought of it made him feel strangely excited. If I successfully unlock it, I'll have 2 skills. At this rate, the day I leave the cleanup crew isn't far off. On the other side of the hospital room, So-yeon had noticed that Jun-woo's mood was strange. Jun-woo didn't look so good just now. Is something wrong? For some reason, Gyun-tae misunderstood. You have to ask? He's furious. The words he had just uttered brought a wave of guilt upon her. It's all because I'm always causing trouble. But he responded to this thought with a shake of his head and said, No, he's the one who got hurt. The unexpected situation left So-yeon completely stunned. Gyun-tae explained cheerfully, That guy may look hot-tempered, but he actually cares a lot about his colleagues. It's like, you could say he wears his heart on his sleeve. Hearing this, Minju, who was standing beside them, recalled how Jun-woo had run as fast as he could to the hospital. He cares for his colleagues to the point of sacrificing himself. I know that well. There's so much I have to learn from him. Sang Hyuk raised an eyebrow, evaluating. But the more I learn about Jun-woo, the weirder he seems. Don't you think? So-yeon, however, clearly had no idea what they were talking about. Why? Did something happen? Upon hearing that, he suddenly remembered. Ah, you don't remember, do you? He used a skill when he saved you. As soon as she heard this, she cried out in shock. Junwoo did that? Sang Hyuk replied calmly, I haven't been on the cleanup crew for long either, but for a janitor to be using skills... I'm speechless. Just those few short sentences were enough to overwhelm So-yeon with guilt. Junwoo saved me? How? I didn't even know, and I haven't even thanked him. Since they were on this topic, Geun-tae suddenly turned to Min-ju and asked, So, while we're at it, Hunter Kim Min-ju, what do you think of Junwoo? All the while, she was still worrying about all sorts of things. What if he's angry because I didn't thank him? She didn't even need to think before commenting directly, Master? I don't know. He seems like a good person, and his face is totally my ideal type, even if his personality is a pain. Those words left him stunned for a moment, and he had to quickly correct her. No, that's not it. I want to know your opinion as a hunter. Because of that, Min-ju herself was left completely stunned. She embarrassedly turned away to save face. You were asking for a hunter's perspective? I knew that. Meanwhile, her inner thoughts were screaming, This is so mortifying. Geun-tae didn't really expect an answer from Min-ju, so he said frankly, Him. Honestly, it's a waste for him to just be a janitor. He understands dungeon raid tactics and monster information better than most hunters. As soon as she heard that, she understood immediately. Are you asking if he might transfer to the operations team? He admitted it frankly and also added, It'll be difficult, but it would be good for Junwoo. Min-ju also seriously evaluated the feasibility of it all. He's definitely more experienced and skilled than most hunters. But the problem is, Master is on a cleanup crew. Her words startled both Geun-tae and Sang Hyuk. Not understanding her meaning, he started to criticize her in a fit of anger. That's rude. So what if he's on the cleanup crew? Are you saying we can't grow? The older man had to quickly intervene. Hey, you, calm down. Only then did Min-ju slowly deny it. That's not it. In fact, it's the opposite. Every word she said sent Sang Hyuk from one surprise to another. What? Min-ju finally decided to reveal it. Even I, a B-rank hunter, can't see his true skill level. And yet, Master still chose the cleanup crew and not the operations team. Geun-tae understood almost immediately. You mean he wants to do this job? And that's why he is the way he is? She admitted it frankly. Yeah, I can't think of any other reason. Even so, he still didn't understand. But why would he choose a job that gets his hands dirty? Hearing this question, Min-ju slowly spoke up again. This is just a guess, but... Her eyes were filled with countless ideals, and her whole being seemed to light up as she spoke. What if Master has more than enough skill, but simply doesn't want to get caught up in the ranking divisions within the association or among hunters? He treasures camaraderie, and that's why he chose the cleanup crew. The answer was so cheesy that the other three were stunned into silence for a few seconds. Camaraderie. Geun-tae finally decided to change his mind. I guess that settles it. If that's his conviction, there's no need for me to bring up him transferring. Meanwhile, So-yeon was so moved, she was on the verge of tears. Junwoo. Even though Sang Hyuk was a mess of emotions, he still stubbornly criticized, that guy. You've always thought that highly of us? Talk about loyal. Right after that, he suddenly brought up another important issue. By the way, something just occurred to me. If he values his comrades that much, don't tell me. He just went to the association to protest the accident? This statement deeply shocked Min-ju. No way. But honestly, that's very possible, no joke. And indeed, Junwoo had currently found his way to the Hunter Association's office. Seeing him arrive, the director of the Republic of Korea's sole branch of the Supernatural Dimension Management Association, Seo Min-cheol, was openly annoyed. Who are you? He looked down at the man with arrogance. Let me introduce myself. A janitor. Looking at Junwoo standing before him, Min-cheol immediately thought, Are you requesting a budget increase for the cleanup crew? He admitted it bluntly. That's right. The man tapped his fingers lightly on the desk, as if he were actually thinking about it. The director of the sole branch of the Republic of Korea Association for the Management of Superpowers and Space, Seo Min-cheol, adjusted his sitting posture, feigning a difficult dilemma. Junwoo had met this man in his previous life, so he knew. Seo Min-cheol, the head of the Seoul branch. Around this time, the Seo Min-cheol family had joined the organization one by one through connections, and their influence on the association was immense. The man started to pass the buck. If that's the case, you should have gone to the management department. Junwoo frowned and declared, What kind of hunter goes around killing every single monster? You just catch the boss, and it's over. Hearing this, Min-cheol asked, startled, Are you a hunter? He tilted his chin arrogantly and replied, No, I'm a janitor. This pissed the guy off. So now a janitor just walks up to the director to ask for a budget increase? Not even a team leader, just a regular janitor? But Junwoo didn't care, and even admitted, That's right. Seeing that he wasn't going to back down, Min-cheol could only feign reluctance. I guess you're at that age where you just charge in and attack others without knowing the consequences. But what does the cleaning team even need to spend money on? The costs aren't that high. But he never expected Junwoo to retort sarcastically, "I'm asking for an increase because the budget is even less than those not-so-high costs." That insolent reply made Min Cheol laugh in anger. "This kid's got some nerve. I've been letting your behavior slide up until now, but how dare you?" But before he could finish his sentence, Junwoo cut him off. An accident just happened. He thought about the terrible equipment he had received. As well as the recent problems, he began to explain. Even though the equipment is old, there isn't enough in the budget to buy new ones. Since nothing could be done to fix the problem, they just kept working like that, and a hazmat suit tore. Even the gas mask wasn't working properly. As a result, a team member was exposed to a monster's toxin. Min Cheol raised an eyebrow in disbelief. "I haven't received a report about this." Junwoo calmly explained, "Because it just happened." This left the guy speechless. He even started cursing inwardly. This bastard, who's backing him that he dares to be so insolent and spout such nonsense? He continued with a long tirade of accusations and criticisms. "Honestly, I understand you want to save money, not spending it on the cleaning team, but you shouldn't let accidents happen. Isn't that going too far? Not even providing money for new hazmat suits and gas masks." Finally, Min Cheol had to resort to the same old excuse. "What just happened is unfortunate, but headquarters has no money." Junwoo paused for a few seconds before asking, "Are you saying you have no money?" The guy pointed straight at his face, revealing a gold ring and the expensive items behind him. "That's right, buddy. What do you know about the association's financial situation? Now that I think about it, it seems like you haven't even been here in a long time." Hearing this, he let out a cold sneer. Then, with contempt, he scoffed, "I don't think so. This year's budget, you must have taken a huge chunk out of it for yourself, haven't you?" With the experience from his past life, it wasn't hard for Junwoo to know that the budget allocated just for the Supernatural Conquest Department was in the tens of billions, and 70% of that would go to the operations team. Min Cheol, having been caught red-handed, asked in disbelief, "How do you know that?" He didn't have time to explain all that, so he leaned forward directly in front of the man and said, "Anyway, you won't be able to use all that money this year. And when the year ends, all that money will be used for commemorative dungeon sweeps or conquests with other guilds. If that's the case, I'm asking you to share a small portion of it with those who really need it." Only then did Min Cheol know what fear was. Who are you?" But Junwoo, still with the demeanor of a superior, replied, "I already told you I'm a janitor." He even took the liberty of spelling things out for him. "And as the director, you should think about your position. It's been, 3 months since you joined, right?" Min Cheol, dissatisfied, corrected him. 2 months. But Junwoo couldn't be bothered and continued, 2. You struggled to climb to this position, so you should at least try to work here a little longer, don't you think?" In that lavish office, his voice echoed like a warning. "There are rumors that the cleaning team is treated poorly. Wouldn't it be terrible if the public found out an accident happened because there was no budget for equipment?" The man couldn't take it anymore and asked directly, "Are you threatening me right now?" Junwoo shamelessly shrugged and asked back, "What, can't I?" In the end, as furious as he was, Min Cheol had to concede. "All right, I understand what you're saying." He finally got to the important question. "So, how much do you want me to increase the budget by?" Junwoo didn't really care about that. "Increase it by however much you like." He remembered the system's pending quest. Inferno Prison Unlock Condition. Expand the dungeon cleaning team's budget. So this wasn't an issue for him, because the skill Unlock Condition only mentioned expanding the budget. Whether it was 10-1 or 100-1, as long as it increased, it was fine. Having gotten what he needed, Junwoo didn't care anymore and turned to leave. "Well, I think our conversation is over. I'll be taking my leave." But he hadn't taken more than a few steps before being called back. "Wait." Min Cheol suddenly became suspicious. "Do you, by any chance, know Hunter Kim Minju?" This put him on guard. "Why are you asking me that?" That reaction alone was enough to make the man feel smug. "It seems you really do know her. I'll consider the budget expansion and contact you. You can go now." Although he still had many questions in his mind, like, why did he suddenly bring up her name? Junwoo didn't intend to ask, so he just opened the door and left. All right. The door had barely closed. The man started dialing someone. "A janitor? Bullshit." The person on the other end picked up quickly. "Yes, director." Min Cheol turned, looking out the window as he recounted with annoyance. "Soo Young, just now, a janitor came here. It seems he's the bastard you mentioned before. The one that brat Kim Min-ju said she was learning swordsmanship from." This made Soo Young on the other end of the line fly into a rage. "What? This is insane! How dare some lowly janitor go see the director?" But Min Cheol was convinced, no, that bastard is not a janitor. Hearing this, he asked curiously, "Then what is he?" Since the man himself didn't know, any conclusion was just a guess. "I don't know, but he's definitely not just a janitor." Considering he knows all of our internal information, it seems he's connected to the association somehow. Soo-young didn't know what to say when Min-chul reminded him. Just now, he proposed expanding the cleaning team's budget, but I don't think that's his real purpose. After a moment, he spoke up, annoyed. Anyway, isn't he currently a member of the cleaning team? The man on the other end asked suspiciously. Yes, why? Soo-young immediately suggested an idea. Perfect timing. I was planning on teaching them a lesson anyway. Min-chul was even more confused. A lesson? He bared his teeth in a treacherous grin. Teach them how to bow their heads to their superiors. The next day, at the entrance to the dungeon area, Gun-tae looked at the paper in his hand, completely dumbfounded. What is this? Unexpectedly, it was a disciplinary action notice for So-yeon. Disciplinary action? Sang-hyuk was the first to react. He shouted angrily, Damn it! Isn't compensation not even enough? Now they're demanding disciplinary action? Hunter, isn't this ridiculous? This can't be happening. But even Min-ju herself was completely bewildered. I'm very surprised, too. According to what's written in the report, the reason Ms. Mun So-yeon is facing disciplinary action is for violating the rule against holding multiple jobs. Fatigue accumulated from overwork has been cited as the cause of the accident. The more he read, the angrier Sang-hyuk became. I mean, they treat us like we're worthless, and now this... Gun-tae mumbled as he read a part of the paper. All accusations of a workplace accident and requests for compensation are being dismissed. The notice was long, but the most glaring part was at the end. The accident occurred due to personal negligence, and there is no evidence that the equipment used, the gas mask and hazmat suit, was old. It was so outrageous that after hearing it, Jun-woo couldn't help but curse. Seriously? He cursed inwardly. Seo Min-chul, so this is how you play. How, perhaps seeing Jun-woo's dark expression, So-yeon tried to comfort him. Jun-woo, don't worry too much, I'm really okay. Which confused him. What? She began to explain nervously. Even if it's disciplinary action, it's just a warning. Honestly, I wasn't even expecting anything. They always treat the cleaning team like this. Meanwhile, what he was actually concerned about was something else entirely. What is she talking about? The real problem is my locked skill. Even Sang-hyuk isn't being so harsh with Jun-woo anymore. Still, I'm definitely seeing you in a different light now. It's just... I can't make heads or tails of what you're saying. What are you talking about? He thought Jun-woo was still trying to hide things, so he bluntly voiced his misunderstanding. I heard you took the fall for us and went to see the director. I knew you were crazy, but you're a real psycho. Even Gun-tae had to agree. That's right, Jun-woo. It's a bit of a shame, but your feelings definitely got across. All while Min-ju worriedly called out twice. Master, their unusual enthusiasm actually made him wary. Did these guys eat something weird? How could you all misunderstand it like that? After talking for a bit, Gun-tae started leading the group into the dungeon. All right, let's keep Jun-woo's kindness in mind and work hard today. So-yeon, don't overdo it. After a full day of rest, So-yeon had recovered the strength she'd lost over the past while. I'm much better now, sir. As they walked, Sang-hyuk suggested with a bored tone, we should just quit this job soon. All of this made Jun-woo more pensive than ever. No matter how I think about it, this is just weird. I didn't even ask for much money, nor did I demand compensation. But he's nitpicking just because someone else does a lot of work? Is there any reason for those higher-ups to be acting this ridiculously? But while he was lost in thought, he was surprised to hear Min-ju suddenly exclaim from beside him, No way. Don't tell me it's because of me. That left Jun-woo confused. What are you talking about? Why would it be you? Only then did she honestly explain. Actually, the last time I requested a day off, I talked to the team leader about the cleanup crew. Even now, Min-ju still vividly remembered Soo-young's arrogant demeanor. He's a real piece of work, so he probably didn't take it well. Maybe that's why he's teaching them a lesson. After hearing that, Jun-woo quickly asked, What's your team leader's name? Min-ju didn't hesitate to spill everything. He's the leader of Control Team 1, Lee Soo-young. Do you know him? The image of Soo-young's despicable face immediately flashed in his mind. Lee Soo-young, the poster boy for Seo Min-chul's network of cronies. He became the leader of Control Team 1 through his connections, and even though he has no talent of his own, he's still on a constant power trip. Thinking about this, Jun-woo let out a small, derisive smirk. No wonder. Right after that, he suddenly went up to Gun-tae. Team leader. He turned his head doubtfully and asked, What is it? Then, Jun-woo made a surprise announcement. I'll be using my day off today. Hearing this, everyone cried out, So suddenly? Scene changed to Seoul, Samseong Station, Seocho-gu. Like any other day, a couple was strolling leisurely together. Honey, what should we eat for dinner? The girl just had to say cheerfully and playfully, Anything's fine. The young man laughed out loud. You always say that, don't you? The very next second, A spatial gate suddenly appeared in front of them. A purple light flashed in an instant, carrying a deadly danger with it. As soon as they realized what it was, everyone around them turned and fled. "It's a dungeon! Report it to the association, now!" But to Jun-woo, who was walking against the crowd, this was like a reunion with an old friend. "It's been a while. Should I show off my skills a little? Model." The moment he entered the dungeon, he was greeted by the horrifying shriek of a goblin. A second later, Jun-woo was surrounded by 4 other goblins. Despite the ferocious assault, he remained calm and activated a skill. Jun-woo's eyes turned a brilliant blue, because at that very moment, the skill user's movement speed would increase dramatically during combat. Thanks to using enhanced processing, Hyperboost, he was able to easily annihilate all the surrounding goblins with a pickaxe. In the blink of an eye, Jun-woo had cleared out all the goblins blocking the entrance. And more than anyone, he knew full well that what he was doing was illegal. Dungeon blocking. The act of secretly conquering a dungeon without the association's permission while the assigned hunters are away is an illegal form of conquest that freelance hunters often resort to for money. But Jun-woo couldn't care less about that. The only thing on his mind was the current state of his abilities. "It seems I won't be able to control my power for the time being." As for why this act is illegal, it's because it's an emergency conquest with no prior information, leading to a high mortality rate that few dare to risk. But I don't care about that. Carrying a pickaxe, Jun-woo walked towards the next gate, muttering a challenge to himself. "The operation team takes 15 minutes to get here. Let's see if I can finish in 10 minutes. For a seasoned former hunter like him, this was a trivial matter. For someone who was once ranked #1 in the world, this is a simple dungeon that can be cleared in under 10 minutes. But it also depends on what skills I have. Deeper inside, Jun-woo came across a giant, fully equipped monster. "I don't have any defensive skills right now. One hit and I'm done for. But the reason I can conquer dungeons so quickly is because..." The boss quickly caught Jun-woo's scent and lunged down to attack, but he remained unfazed. This is the 4th boss already. All of Jun-woo's confidence stemmed from one fact. "I've already cleared these dungeons before." Immediately after, he suddenly teleported, dodging the monster's attack. He then took advantage of its slow reaction and quickly sped up, running along the boss's arm. Before the boss could use its other arm to swat Jun-woo like a mosquito, he quickly grabbed the shovel from his back and threw it forcefully towards the boss's arm. The sharp shovel, enhanced by a skill, easily pierced its wrist. Jun-woo lowered his head, took a deep breath, and activated an acquired skill. When a weak point is attacked, damage increases by 3,000%. Then he brought the pickaxe in his hand down in a heavy blow to the boss's face. A second later, its face and body exploded, causing a terrifying tremor. After everything was done, Jun-woo unexpectedly started counting on his fingers. The Metal Dungeon, the Mini Succubus Dungeon, the Ghost Dungeon, the Ant Dungeon. A total of 4 dungeons conquered in one day. Jun-woo squatted on the back of the final boss's hand, lost in thought. Normally, an operation team hunter conquers an average of 3 to 4 dungeons per week. That's not a bad record. Then again, low-level dungeons don't pay much. Recalling the last time he exited a dungeon, he had to be very careful not to run into the other hunter team. The area around the dungeon is full of association vehicles. HQ must be treating this as an emergency. Makes sense, having 4 dungeons stolen by some nobody would do that. After several incidents like this, Jun-woo had really pissed those people off. Making the guards work on their day off? That damn freelancer? Just you wait till I get my hands on you. And naturally, he wasn't afraid of them. "If I get caught, at worst I'll be fired. If I'm unlucky, I'll have to pay for damages. Well, this isn't the cleanup crew's problem." With that thought, Jun-woo pushed himself up slightly. "It's about time for the hunters to arrive. I guess I'll stop here for today." He put his disguise cap back on and muttered to himself, "I still have to see the dumb looks on those hunters' faces." After a 2-day leave, I also had to put on that same stupid expression, a look of being utterly and completely shocked. Because the person who came to visit the cleanup team today was none other than Soo-young. Seeing him arrive, Geun-tae hurried over to ask, "Operation Team Leader, what brings you here?" He jutted out his chin and replied curtly, "I'm here for a field visit." Jun-woo became more guarded than ever. "Lee Soo-young, why is that guy here? Have I been found out?" Soo-young then put on a fake righteous smile, saying, "We should interact with other teams from time to time to build camaraderie, right?" But the man only gave a perfunctory reply, "Yes." Not to mention someone like him who saw right through his act. He never usually pays any attention to the cleanup team. He let out a smirk, his malicious gaze slowly shifting towards Jun-woo. "Well, just pretend I'm not here. Everyone, just carry on as usual." Feeling the stare, he could only grit his teeth, thinking, the operation team leader visiting at a time like this? He must suspect that I'm the one who's been blocking the dungeons. Sensing the tense atmosphere, Geun-tae quickly stepped in to create a diversion. "All right, shall we get started? What's with the mood here? The operation team leader brought us gas masks and protective gear, so hurry up and put them on." While Junwoo remained silent, Soo-young directly refused. There's no need for protective gear. We'll be observing from a distance anyway. After entering the dungeon and seeing the disastrous state of the monsters, he asked with some hesitation, "This is probably going to take a while, isn't it? Sang-hyuk, how much time do we have left?" Sang-hyuk replied nonchalantly, 1 hour. It'll be enough if we're quick. From the side, Junwoo turned his head and asked, "Kim Min-ju, is there any solution left?" Min-ju obediently replied, "Yes, there's a little bit left." "What about the concentration?" Meanwhile, Soo-young finally had to put on a gas mask before entering. "There's still smoke here." Junwoo paid him no mind and continued talking to her. "Set it to 60%. The flesh has hardened, so we need a strong concentration. Bring me a new rag." Gun-tae then asked, "So Yan, what's the gas reading?" While cleaning, So-yeon turned and replied, 150 micrograms per cubic meter. The decomposition process is happening quite fast. "Over here!" Junwoo called out again. "Han Sang-hyuk, when you're done there, come help us dismantle this." But Sang-hyuk directly refused. "I'm busy right now. Blood splattered all over the path, so I have to wipe it all down." Being completely ignored by the team, Soo-young started to feel annoyed. Are they pretending to be busy just because a superior is here? Maybe I should try to scare them a little. With that thought, he suddenly called out, "Min-ju!" causing Min-ju to take a moment to turn and ask, "Yes? Did you know about the dungeon blocking incidents over the past 2 days?" Soo-young's unusual question sent a shockwave through Junwoo. Full of suspicion, he turned his head to gauge Min-ju's reaction. Is Kim Min-ju misunderstanding something, thinking I'm a hunter? But since the dungeon blocking happened during our break, and that one question was enough to make the entire team stop what they were doing. It won't just be Kim Min-ju who misunderstands. All the members must have realized it. The suspense made Junwoo's heart leap into his throat. Damn it, is he probing me? I'm screwed. Luckily, Min-ju was silent for only a moment before calmly remarking, "Is that so? Wasn't it just the hunters fooling around with each other?" Soo-young replied, feigning nonchalance. "I guess so. I've looked everywhere, but it's not easy at all." The director was furious. Then he glanced suggestively at the others in the team. So whoever catches the dungeon blocker this time is the reward big? Min-ju had clearly never heard this news and was a bit curious. A reward? Soo-young intentionally raised his voice. Yes, catching a hunter gets you bonus points on your rank evaluation. He even maliciously emphasized this to the remaining members. You could get transferred to another team. Gun-tae frowned slightly, glancing at Junwoo behind him as the conversation continued. So, you're saying if we catch the culprit in the cleanup team, we get transferred to another team. Is that it? Thinking his plan had succeeded, Soo-young shot a malicious glance towards the suspect. Besides Min-ju, if anyone else is interested, let me know. For example, if some guy suddenly took 2 days off. This condition made Junwoo anxious. I'm screwed. Transferred to another team? His heart began to waver, losing faith in his teammates. If that's the case, everyone will be fighting for it. I forgot that even though he has connections, he's a cunning bastard. But Gun-tae was silent for a moment before calling out, "Junwoo!" Then he suddenly asked a question that nearly made Junwoo's heart stop. "Did you get hurt somewhere yesterday?" Taking the opportunity, Gun-tae quickly made up a reason. "Right, this kid. I told you to be careful when cleaning up monster corpses." So-yeon followed up, full of concern. "That's right. It's a good thing you got hurt yesterday. If a superior came today and you were injured, the cleanup team would have been done for." A dozen question marks seemed to pop up in his head. One moment hearing Sang-hyuk scolding, "That's right, kid. I knew it the moment you started singing while you cleaned." And the next hearing him sigh, "Getting a little praise and you start slacking off, huh?" Then Gun-tae awkwardly scratched his head and said to Soo-young, "Hey, what a shame. You made such a good offer, but there's no one suspicious around here," leaving him speechless. It's fine. Thanks to his mask, he successfully hid a grin that stretched from ear to ear. What a pity. If it were my team, they would have confessed just to get transferred. Sang-hyuk behind him also tried to suppress a laugh to play along. "That's right. If there's anyone suspicious, I'll report it to you immediately," before being jokingly chided by Gun-tae. "Come on, Han Sang-hyuk, he has no loyalty at all." Seeing everyone united in covering for him, Junwoo could only choose to remain silent, while Soo-young was shocked to his core, even thinking to himself, have these guys gone crazy from cleaning too much? Witnessing the atmosphere in the cleanup team, Min-ju became even happier with her own assessment. The scene changes to the top floor of the Hunters Association. "Director, I found him." Soo-young furiously called the person on the other end. "I'm sure the dungeon blocker is that bastard from the cleanup crew. Ever since he started working, the dungeon blockages stopped." Finally, Min Cheol on the other end made a request. "Soo-young, just give them the budget." This made him extremely dissatisfied, even yelling in defiance. "What do you mean, Director? I'm certain. That guy must be punished. Are you just going to turn a blind eye?" Knowing it was impossible to persuade him, the man could only offer a warning. "Soo-young, on this matter, you've picked a fight with the wrong people. The cleanup team. They're not to be trifled with. Anyway, his real identity... After hearing what Min Chul said, Soo Young was suddenly stunned. What? One fine day in front of the office, an innocent little boy pointed at the figure ahead and said, "Mommy, that man is bleeding a lot." The boy's mother quickly put a hand over his mouth to stop him. "Or that scary man will hear you." Meanwhile, Jun-woo excitedly withdrew the money he had worked his ass off for. "The reason I blocked the dungeon was because I wasn't receiving a budget. If you won't give me a budget, I'll just go get it myself." On the other end, Min Chul suddenly made a request. "Soo Young, just give the cleanup team their budget," which made Soo Young scream in anger. "What do you mean, Director? I have proof that he blocked the dungeon." The man explained suggestively, "Just now, an anonymous person sent support funds." This sentence made him freeze. "Support funds?" Min Chul continued on the other end of the line. 20 million won. It's not a huge amount. The damages from this dungeon blocking incident were also around 20 million. But this made Soo Young even more defiant. He thought, then it's even more obvious, isn't it? As soon as the dungeon blockages stopped, that exact amount was sent to the cleanup team. Unable to get through to him, Min Chul had to spell it out. "It's because the culprit is so obvious that it's a problem. The dungeon cleanup team caused the dungeon blocking incident. Does that sound even remotely plausible to you?" He then asked back in a daze, "What are you trying to say?" Soo Young was even more shocked when he heard the man ask, "If you had the ability to block a dungeon, would you work as a janitor?" Without waiting for an answer, Min Chul responded himself, "If it were me, there's no way in hell I would. Obviously, if you have enough ability to advance, why would anyone want to do that kind of dirty work?" He stammered back instinctively, "Right, that's true, but..." Before the person on the other end could finish, the man added in a low voice, "And that's not all. Something was strange from the very beginning. He came to me right after requesting a budget increase, and on top of that, he's incredibly knowledgeable about the association's internal affairs." He remembered the way Jun-woo had threatened him that day. Min Kyol's brows furrowed deeply as he asserted, "I'm sure of it, Soo Young. Right now, there's someone in the cleanup team who shouldn't be there." Soo Young hesitated on the other end. "So you're saying the cleanup team?" A vague sense of unease immediately led him to a conclusion. "There's definitely someone from inside the association, but it seems this person is a big shot, too. For example, the association president, for instance." Sweat poured down Soo Young's face upon hearing this name. "Sir?" Min Kyol reminded him suggestively. "You know it, too. The association president can't stand me." He was now seething and gritting his teeth. "So that's why. I have to monitor every single member of that team, including that bastard." The sudden flood of information made Soo Young so flustered he was pulling his hair out. "The association president's man already knows. Damn it, how could I not have thought of that?" Before ending the call, Min Chul didn't forget to remind him, "This is like a warning. They're watching us, so we'd better act carefully. You already know this, but if I go down, I can't guarantee what will happen to you. We have messed with the wrong people." On the other side, the sky was still clear, and the atmosphere among the members was cheerful. "Good work, everyone." Jun-woo walked along, lost in thought. "Glad that dungeon blocking incident is over. Now I just have to wait and see when I'll receive the support funds I sent." Just then he happened to see something. In front of them were countless cardboard boxes, neatly arranged side by side, making everyone who saw them curious. "What's this? Team leader, did you order a delivery here?" But Gun-tae denied it. "No." Sang-hyuk quickly opened one of the boxes and pulled out a brand new set of clothes. "What's this?" "It's protective gear." While So-yeon, stunned, opened another box. "There are gas masks, too." After opening all the boxes, Gun-tae quickly took inventory. Gloves, chemicals. "Support supplies from headquarters?" he scoffed. "No way that's possible." Looking at the boxes, Jun-woo frowned, guessing, "Looks like the support money I sent them has been used." Just then, Gun-tae fished out an attached piece of paper. "Hey, there's a letter in here!" He didn't even need to read it to know some of the contents, but something still felt off. The letter said this was from an anonymous sponsor, but for 20 million won, this is way too much stuff, isn't it? Meanwhile, Gun-tae was counting the digits one by one. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions, 10 millions, 100 millions? The amount was so large that Jun-woo had to snatch the letter to see for himself. 200 million? It's really 200 million. Seeing their jaws drop, Sang-hyuk asked curiously, "What are you guys so surprised about?" "Let me see." But Jun-woo didn't hear a word. He was still reeling from the shocking news. 10 times the amount I sent them? Sang-hyuk calmly took the letter back from Jun-woo and began to read aloud. After careful consideration, the letter clearly stated, "The association recognizes that the outdated work equipment, due to budget shortages, was a major factor in the recent incident. Therefore, headquarters has decided to allocate additional funds to the cleanup team, although the amount is not large." Hearing this, So-yeon was completely stunned. Additional budget? Sang Hyuk continued reading the next line. We are deeply sorry and apologize for the incident involving Moon So-yeon, and we are sending condolence money as stipulated by regulations. 100 million won in workplace accident compensation. The unexpected windfall moved her to tears. So-yeon finally couldn't hold it in and asked through her sobs, "Could it be Jun-woo?" But Jun-woo quickly refuted it. "No, it wasn't me. Hey." However, Sang Hyuk was still suspicious. "What on earth did you do?" He could only deny it in a panic. "It wasn't me." Gun-tae, on the other hand, didn't care much for the details. He just happily put a hand on Jun-woo's shoulder and said, "Hey, the association has had a change of heart. Looks like you'll be doing this for a long time." Jun-woo frantically turned his head to remind him, "Team leader, don't you find this strange? There's no way the association would just change its mind, let alone give us this much money." But the older man was as calm as ever. "Hey, it's all written in the official notice. They said they reconsidered." Gun-tae even subtly hinted to the other members. "So, let's just leave it at that. It's not like we know who did it, right?" So-yeon replied with a bright smile, "Yes!" As the excitement gradually faded, they faced another difficult problem. "Well, we have to carry all this stuff to the office." If they were going to deliver it, couldn't they have just brought it straight to the office? Jun-woo had to remind them of something. "We do have an office, you know." Gun-tae scratched his head sheepishly and admitted, "Of course we do, though we never use it." Min-ju then asked curiously, "Where is our office?" Which caught him off guard. "Huh? What was that?" She offered with a bright smile. "He and I will take the things to the office. The rest of you can just clock out for the day." This made Jun-woo ask in discontent, "Why me?" Gun-tae also tried to persuade him, "Don't be like that. Come on and move it with me." But Min-ju insisted firmly, "No, the two of us will do it. Is that okay?" Obviously, he just wanted to stay as far away from her as possible. "What if I'm not okay with it? Can we not do it together? What are you even saying?" In the end, Jun-woo had to take on the job of hauling the boxes. Right at that moment, the system announced, "Unlock condition met. Increased budget for the dungeon cleanup team. Skill acquired, karma cleansing fire." The sudden notification sent his mood soaring. "This will get me another skill, huh? The day I can finally leave the cleanup team is getting closer." But his joy didn't last long. Min-ju, following behind him, started probing. "Jun-woo, about that time the dungeon was blocked for 2 days." Since he had nothing left to fear, Jun-woo admitted it outright. "What if I told you that was my doing?" Min-ju knew what he was wary of and said nonchalantly, "Don't worry. You think I'd stab you in the back just to score some points?" This only made Jun-woo more confused. "Then why are you bringing this up?" She just wanted to know, the compensation and support money for the team, was that the money you provided after causing the dungeon blockage? He neither denied nor confirmed it, simply asking, "You already knew?" Min-ju calmly revealed more. "Everyone else on the cleanup team knows too. They're just keeping quiet because they're afraid of startling you." This left Jun-woo stunned for a moment. "I've been found out? I thought no one knew." Then she suddenly asked another question. "Do you know the saying about an awl in a sack?" Then she hinted meaningfully, "Your talent is something that can't be hidden, even if you wanted to. You somehow avoided getting caught this time, but from now on, the association is going to pay more and more attention to you. If that happens, you won't be able to stay on the cleanup team anymore." Unexpectedly, this statement made Jun-woo ecstatic. "Really?" In his mind, he misunderstood. Could it be that this girl talked to the higher-ups and now they're planning to transfer me to the operations team? And just like that, the issues he'd had with her from his past life to this one began to resolve. So, Kim Min-ju can be useful after all. Bringing her to the cleanup team really paid off. I can finally escape this shabby team. A second later, the wooden crate in Min-ju's hands suddenly fell straight to the ground. But her whole body radiated a righteous spirit as she declared, "You're going to keep staying on the cleanup team, right?" This made Jun-woo freeze up completely. Min-ju even worked herself up into such an emotional state that she declared through tears, "I'll help you. Stay on the cleanup team for the rest of your life." This incident made her even more determined to try harder. "Of course. A B-rank nobody like me can't help much. But if I become an A-rank hunter, then I can help you stay here." And it was precisely these words that made Jun-woo furious. "Are you kidding me right now?" A few more days passed. Although the dungeon blockage incident had ended well, another event would soon occur. Right now, he was staring at something, wondering, what the hell is this? Even Sang Hyuk was stunned. This is... The dungeon walls were covered in bright red writing. Things like, "Don't even think of leaving here. Mad now? It stinks. Trash. Janitors. Be a janitor for life." He cursed in outrage. "They're insane, am I right?" Even Gun-tae himself didn't know what to say. This is really Whenever they entered the dungeon to clean, it was always like a garbage dump, with monster blood and flesh splattered everywhere. Looking at the mess before them, Guntae could only remark, "They really went all out with this, didn't they?" Junwoo grew even more furious as he understood what the hunters were doing. They're intentionally leaving monster corpses scattered everywhere. The absurd scene before them made So Yeon frightened. To do this, it's truly going too far. Meanwhile, Sang-hyuk became more enraged than ever. "Hey, Kim Jun-woo, let's go and confront them. This is completely out of line." Junwoo just replied calmly, "Even if we confront them, they'll just deny it. Let it go." Hearing this, Sang-hyuk was even less convinced. "How can you just let it go? Aren't you angry?" But Junwoo paid it no mind, figuring, if we don't react, they'll get bored and stop. Meanwhile, Sang-hyuk was still seething behind him. "This is driving me nuts." In his heart, Junwoo had already guessed whose handiwork this was. It's definitely those guys from the operations team. In the end, he still had to start cleaning with everyone else, despite his own annoyance. "I want to go chew them out right now just as much as you do," he thought. "But to get more skills, I have to avoid a confrontation with the operations team. Besides, it's just a prank. It'll stop in a few days. Or so I thought." But 4 days later, they were still at it. As this continued, a dead silence fell over the team. The tears of frustration finally started to fall. Of course they did. So Yeon choked back a sob and wondered, why do they have to be so awful? Sang-hyuk couldn't stand it anymore and continued to press the issue. "Team leader, this is unacceptable. I'm going to the operations team to settle this." Only then did Guntae reveal, "I've already gone a few times. I wanted to speak with their captain. But they said he was away on business. They just kept denying it. Those hunters didn't even give me the time of day and just walked off arrogantly saying, 'Do you have any proof we did this? Clearing dungeons keeps us busy enough. You think hunters have that much free time?' Right. What would a janitor know anyway?" Out of options, Sang-hyuk could only think of making a call. Then Hunter Min-ju could... But before he could act, a cold voice cut him off. "That's enough!" The voice angered him. "What? Are you just going to let it slide again?" In reality, Junwoo had also reached his limit. He gritted his teeth and said, "Don't call anyone, I'll go myself." As he spoke, Junwoo turned to leave, radiating a murderous aura. "Don't clean this place." Seeing this, Sang-hyuk got a little scared. "That psycho is at it again?" So Yeon called out worriedly, "Junwoo, where are you going?" Even Guntae quickly reminded him, "We're still on the clock, Junwoo." But his mind was now consumed by uncontrollable rage. "You're hunters, and you pull this childish crap for 3 days? You've got some nerve, but the best part is..." The reason Junwoo became like this was because the system had activated a passive skill harvest. Righteousness, sickness, passive activated, pushing his mood to negative infinity. "You've really pushed me over the edge." In an instant, he arrived in front of the association headquarters. "You damn hunters. I was already dead tired without you pulling this crap, and now you make me work 15 hours a day?" The automatic doors slid open, welcoming the uninvited guest. Indignation continuously consumed Junwoo's will. "Thanks to you bastards, I missed the last bus of the day, you dogs. Come in." He entered, despite the place being full of enemies. "This is the Seoul headquarters. How may I help?" Without waiting for the receptionist to finish, he swung his arm and knocked down the 2 hunters blocking his way. "Get lost!" The hunters who saw this started shouting, "This bastard! How dare you yell at a hunter! Get back here!" But in Junwoo's mind, there was only one thought. Today is the day you all die. As his anger erupted, Junwoo slowly recalled something. It must be because of what happened 4 days ago. Back then, 2 hunters had just stepped out of a dungeon and were making derogatory remarks. "It stinks. The moment I stepped in, I felt like throwing up from the smell." He glanced at So-yeon with utter contempt and said, "Afraid people won't know you're from the cleaning team?" while deliberately bumping hard into Sang-hyuk. So damn annoying. Seeing the looks of disbelief on the 2 cleaners' faces, the hunters were emboldened and pressed on, taking turns. "Hey, you glaring at me? So what if I am? Then why the hell did you go over our heads and mess with our team's budget, huh?" Such direct insults and contempt left So-yeon and Sang-hyuk completely shocked. As janitors, you should know your place and just shut your mouths. If it were me, I'd rather get a part-time job. Finally, he couldn't hold it in any longer and was about to curse back, "Hey, you son of a..." when they were interrupted by Min-ju's question. "You two, what team are you from?" He turned to her with the same arrogant attitude. "Huh?" The 2 of them shifted their attack to Min-ju. "You're tiny as a twig and you dare talk to us like that? Get lost while I'm still being nice." Finally, she lost all patience. Her face darkened as she repeated, "I'm asking you, what team are you from?" While he was still unwilling to back down, "What team? You think you'd even know if I told you?" His friend beside him quickly tried to stop him. "Hey, wait a sec. Hey, Not realizing his friend was warning him, he got even more fired up. What? What is it? His friend quickly said, "You idiot, this is Senior Kim." The two, who had just been so arrogant, now hurriedly bowed their heads. "Greetings, Senior." Minju frowned and asked, "You're from this team?" The two of them bowed one after another, saying, "We're sorry, Senior. We didn't know it was you. We're truly sorry." This time she replied in a cold, sarcastic tone, "Sorry? What's there to be sorry about? I didn't know you guys were on my team either." A second later, Minju's eyes filled with a potent, killing intent. "Before you apologize for not recognizing me, apologize for looking down on other people." After scolding them, she hurried over to check on her friends. "So Yeon, Sang-hyuk, are you two okay?" They both replied in unison, "Yes." As she spoke, Minju glanced at the two walking away. "There are some really unpleasant new guys lately. They act all high and mighty now that they're hunters, but they haven't even reached E-rank yet. Anyway, I'm really sorry about that." So Yeon quickly reassured her, "It's no big deal, we're fine." But it was precisely because of this perceived favoritism that those two hunters started holding a grudge against the cleaning team. Gun-tae and Jun-woo slowly appeared last. Gun-tae, still full of enthusiasm, greeted everyone. "Good morning, everyone. Oh, we even have a hunter visiting today? Well then, shall we get right to work?" Minju politely corrected him. "No, we came to say our goodbyes today. I have learned so much during my time here." As she spoke, she gave a 90-degree bow to express her gratitude, which made Gun-tae a bit flustered. "Not at all." He beamed, thinking, "We should be the ones thanking you. Thank you for helping us all this time." Meanwhile, Jun-woo, standing beside them, felt more at ease about his little student. "Kim Min-ju has only been working for a week. She must be a fast learner, so she can handle things well on her own now." Although deep down, he also felt a little regret. Though it's only until today. Before leaving, a radiant Minju said, "I'm the one who should be thankful for getting to meet such good people." Finally, So-yeon couldn't hold back her tears and called out, "Minju!" Full of affection, she pleaded, "You have to come back and visit me, okay?" Jun-woo, witnessing this, was a bit speechless. They've only known each other for a week. How did they get so close? All Minju could do was promise, "Of course." He just stood there, watching everything from a distance with a grim expression. Everyone was sad to see Kim Min-ju leave, but I was the exception, because I was the one who told her to leave. Recalling that moment, she was completely stunned when Jun-woo demanded, "Hey, starting tomorrow, don't come here anymore." Hearing that, Kim Min-ju was dealt a considerable blow, but she soon realized my true intention. I told her not to come here to clean anymore, because I wanted her to listen to my request. From now on, I will arrange her schedule based on my own knowledge and experience. As long as she does well, she'll reach A rank within half a year. Right now, I can't build a career like I did in my previous life. The goal Jun-woo had laid out in his mind was, I have to train her to become the best hunter and use her as a bargaining chip with the association. As he watched Minju enthusiastically taking notes, his heart was filled with unspoken malice. "You said that in your past life you were just a tool to be used and thrown away, right? Sorry, but in this life, you're still just a tool." Just then, she suddenly called out, "Master?" It left Jun-woo stunned. "What?" Minju happily expressed, "Thank you so much, Master." Then, she didn't forget to add a message. "I doubt anything like that will happen, but if you ever need help, please contact me anytime." He could only stammer, okay, while his mind was in a total mess. Is she always like this? Anyway, that's how Kim Min-ju left the cleanup team. This all happened in the span of one day, and on that day, they received countless curses written on the walls. At the association building, the two troublemakers from before were sitting in a room, gloating to each other. The more I think about it, the funnier it is that the old guy from the cleaning department came here today. That bald boss asking us to pay attention to the cleanup crew? Isn't that hilarious? He was still going on and on about his achievements. That's why I say, how can the cleanup crew even think about eyeing the hunter team's budget? They're nothing special, how dare they? The very next second, he took a punch straight from Jun-woo. Seeing his friend get hurt, he immediately jumped up and yelled, "What the? Who the hell are you, you bastard?" But in the next moment, Jun-woo turned and raised his hand, aiming straight for him. He's crazy. Seeing him about to charge, the guy quickly activated his skill. You cleanup crew guys really don't know your place. His ability was that of a mage, so when he summoned a Grim Reaper, he excitedly believed, "You're dead for sure, you cleanup crew bastard." When the Grim Reaper lunged to strike, Jun-woo managed to duck in time, avoiding the deadly blow. Seeing him continue to charge forward, the guy grew even angrier, frantically using his skills. "Deadly strike! Skill activated! How dare you mess with a hunter!" He roared in fury. "You're dead meat today. I'll make sure you never act so high and mighty again." But before he could finish his sentence, both he and his Grim Reaper got a slap from Jun-woo. "Enough with the bullshit! Eat this! You dare use a skill on me?" Looking at the two hunters struggling on the ground, he asked through gritted teeth, "Like that?" Is it fun? Even middle schoolers don't pull this crap. You guys really love mocking people behind their backs, don't you? Then Junwoo didn't forget to add, and another thing, didn't you guys take hunter education? You dare use skills on a civilian outside of a dungeon? The spiky-haired guy quickly retorted, "You're the one assaulting a hunter. You think we'll just let this go?" But he had no patience to listen, even raising his hand as if to strike again. "Fuck you. You're just a piece of shit E-ranker. You dare interrupt me?" Seeing this, the guy quickly covered his head and begged, "I'm sorry." Looking at the person trembling and cowering on the floor, Junwoo couldn't help but let a sentence slip. Such a cowardly hunter, back in my day. But luckily, he stopped himself in time. Then, he gently caressed the spiky-haired guy's face. "Listen carefully. From this day forward, we will not clean up the dungeons you guys clear. I will announce it to the press and post everything you've done online. So, your life as a hunter is going to be pretty fun from now on, huh?" Not only was he defiant, but he was also angry, thinking, "You think the association will just let you do that? The association will definitely side with the hunters." Junwoo didn't even bother to listen and replied contemptuously, "You think the association will cover for you? You're just a piece of shit E-ranker." He even gave the guy a way out. "If you don't want me to blow this up, then come to the cleanup room and kneel and apologize to us." But this spiky-haired guy's useless pride was too great. Hunters have their pride, you know. These words directly infuriated Junwoo, turning him into a demon. "Is that so? If you don't want to do anything I say, then let's go into a dungeon for 1 round, no ranks, no nothing." Right at that moment, Soo-young came rushing over. "What's all this noise about?" The disastrous scene before him made the atmosphere in the room freeze in an instant. Junwoo was stunned. What is this? Isn't Lee Soo-young on a business trip? As he recalled what Gun Tae had said, "I've gone several times already. Their team leader is also on a business trip." Only one thought crossed Junwoo's mind. Getting caught by this guy is going to be a real pain. Unexpectedly, Soo-young humbly clasped his hands before him and asked, Is there a reason someone from the cleanup team has come here?" Faced with this sudden change in attitude, he just felt suspicious. What's wrong with him now? Meanwhile, Soo-young only dared to smile and ask, "Is it because the budget is still short?" Junwoo decided to take advantage of the situation. He pointed directly at the spiky-haired guy and said, "Those guys were playing pranks while clearing the dungeon." Soo-young asked doubtfully, "Pranks?" He began a long tirade of accusations. Yes, they scattered monster corpses all over the dungeon and used blood to draw graffiti. That's why the cleanup team was dissatisfied and came here. Thinking his savior had arrived, the guy rushed towards him and accused Junwoo. "He's lying! That bastard was the one who got violent!" Unexpectedly, as soon as he finished his sentence, he got a slap on his other cheek. "Who are you calling a bastard? Are you insane?" After taking care of the matter, Soo-young once again appeared humbly before Junwoo. "I'm sorry, I apologize on his behalf." Seeing the other person apologize on his behalf made him a little embarrassed. "It's fine. Just tell them to be more careful next time." Since there was nothing else, he just left. "I'll be taking my leave." Soo-young behind him quickly saw him off. "Yes, take care." Before leaving completely, Junwoo didn't forget to turn his head and remind him, "And one more thing, I don't want to see those guys in front of me ever again." The matter was resolved, but there was still one suspicious point. That was team leader Lee Soo-young's change in attitude. One fine evening, he asked Min-ju out to talk. "Do you have any idea what's going on?" She slowly recounted what she knew. "I've only been off for a week, so I don't know the details. In short, they're truly a pathetic bunch. That's why they're only E-rank." Remembering how both of them had come to express their apologies to the cleaning team, "We're sorry, sir. We're sorry," Junwoo simply thought. But anyway, they apologized properly. They must have gotten chewed out a lot, so they probably won't do it again. Min-ju slowly responded, "Now they can't even if they wanted to." She calmly turned to him and announced the recent news. "Because they were fired. Both of them." This made Junwoo extremely surprised. "What?" Min-ju glanced at the person beside her and coolly dropped another bombshell. "Those hunters. They were all fired." This sentence momentarily stunned Junwoo. What? He was panicking internally. Could it be because they hate the sight of me? Hunters from the operations team got fired just because of something a mere janitor said? Thinking back now, Junwoo felt a chill down his spine. And the way he was so freakishly polite to me back then. Just what on earth is he thinking? Then the next morning, something even more shocking happened to him. What now? The entire hunter team was bowing respectfully. "You've all worked very hard." Their attitude was so enthusiastic. "I just hope they'll handle the rest for us. Thank you, everyone." Junwoo awkwardly squeezed past them. Yes, operations team number 1 worked hard too. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The hunters always acted so strangely after a dungeon raid. Once the raid was over, they would wait for us to greet them before leaving. Looking at the scene over there, the cleaning team was at a loss. It wasn't like they cleaned up before leaving, was it? I guess so. Seeing that someone else had done his work for him, Junwoo felt a little relieved. They even gathered all the monster corpses in one place, and we don't have to clean the boss room anymore. So Yan was still a bit bewildered. Why is this happening? I'm not used to this at all. But Gun-tae was over the moon. The operations team being wary of the cleaning team? This is the first time I've seen this in my 10 years of cleaning. Nearby, Sang Hyuk waved his hand dramatically. At this rate, we'll end up swallowing the operations team whole, won't we? The older man laughed and chided him affectionately. Don't get cocky, kid. We didn't do anything. It was all thanks to Mr. Jun-woo's efforts. He shrugged nonchalantly. I was just kidding, just kidding. I know he gets the credit. Gun-tae added defensively, anyway, I'm still very grateful to him. But So-yeon's expression was a little troubled. Thank you, Jun-woo, for standing up for us, but I'm actually really worried. Hearing this, Jun-woo was stunned. What do you mean by that? Who's standing up for whom? Her next words seemed to clear up his confusion. I'm worried that if this continues, you'll be the one to suffer. Jun-woo was even more confused. Suffer? Me? So-yeon's eyes drooped sorrowfully. Yes. We're being treated well now, but what if one of the hunters is just waiting for a chance to retaliate? For a moment, he didn't know how to respond, only falling into a quiet contemplation. Then his face wrinkled in frustration. Unless some idiot doesn't know what fear is, I think we'll be safe for a while. They've been causing trouble for long enough. Hearing that, she smiled in relief. Really? You're right. This isn't your fault anyway, Jun-woo. Suddenly, Sang Hyuk approached, full of suspicion. Still, I just can't figure it out. His eyes were fixed on Jun-woo. The director increased our budget, the hunters got kicked out after you said a few words, and now Operations Team 1 is wary of us. Jun-woo obviously understood the implication. What are you trying to say? Sang Hyuk stammered for a long time before finishing. Are you that kind of person? Someone from a class so important that even the bosses wouldn't dare to touch you. This question made Jun-woo's face go blank. What? A moment later, he couldn't help but burst out laughing. Then Jun-woo turned to leave, still laughing. Stop talking nonsense and get back to cleaning. Seeing this, Sang Hyuk's embarrassment turned to anger. It's not true, right? Then why are you laughing like that? Jun-woo didn't answer directly, just thought to himself, important class, my ass. If that were true, why would I be working as a janitor? Elsewhere, Soo-young looked as exhausted as if he hadn't slept all week. Just then, another person entered the room. Hey, Lee Soo-young, I hear you've been very polite to the cleaning team lately? He let out a long, helpless sigh. You're such a gossip. The one crunching on snacks was the captain of Operations Team 2, Im Dong-bin, Lee Soo-young Sr. by 1 year. A professional gossip. His voice was full of sarcasm. The captain of Operations Team 1, wary of the cleaning team. This company really is something else, isn't it? Soo-young pointed right in his face and cursed, If you don't know anything, then shut up. Do you have any idea who's on that cleaning team? But Dong-bin remained unfazed. No, I know. Someone connected to the association president. The rumors all over the place. He laughed out loud while still chewing his snack. This is why I say nepotism is no good. Look at me, promoted fair and square. I don't have to be wary of any big shots. At this, Soo-young was about to go crazy. Seriously, if you just came here to gossip, then get out, now. Dong-bin pretended to sigh. You really are hot-tempered. Then he approached with a sinister look on his face. I'll take care of this for you. What did you say? Dong-bin couldn't help but laugh out loud. That cleaning team that's gotten so arrogant because they have connections, I'll help you out, and fulfill my duty as a good senior at the same time. Soo-young's mouth was full of the snack the other man had given him. How are you going to do it? He wiped his hands while grinning slyly. It's nothing big. We'll just do things by the book. Even someone connected to the association president can't cover up a fatal mistake. Hearing this, he shot up in excitement. The cleaning team made a mistake? Dong-bin said casually. We just have to make them make one. Soo-young's face darkened. That lunatic. What kind of trick is he planning this time? Seeing the other man's expression, he grew even more smug. Then Dong-bin continued his psychological manipulation. Think carefully. Are you going to live your whole life being wary of the cleaning team? Team 1 is full of elites, and you have to live like this? Soo-young was completely convinced. All right, what are your conditions? Dong-bin looked pleased. Soo-young really gets things done quickly. Only then did Dong-bin reveal his plan. Well, it's not that difficult. Next week, your team has a large-scale dungeon raid, right? The multi-zone dungeon in Yongdongpo. Hearing that, his jaw dropped. A multi-zone dungeon? Based on many previous tests, a unique characteristic was discovered. If you defeat the boss in one zone, the dungeon in the next zone opens up. Normally, the dungeon is just average, but its difficulty is so high that you can't escape until all the bosses in every zone are defeated. That's why the preparation time alone is 1 month, and the battle plan is a major project that takes another month to complete. But Dong-bin casually took the job for himself. Just leave that to us. Hearing that, Soo-young became agitated. "You're going too far." But Dong Bin completely ignored him. "If you don't like it, forget it." His business done, Dong Bin just left. "Just so you know, the director already agreed. He told me and you to sort it out amongst ourselves." Watching the other man's retreating back, he still felt deeply resentful. Captain Im Dong Bin uses this method to steal other people's achievements. But right now, we can't touch the cleaning team directly. The more he thought about it, the angrier he got. But Su Young could only grit his teeth. Fine, damn it. This isn't the only large-scale raid anyway. As long as that opportunist deals with the cleaning team, everything will be fine. In the end, he had to compromise. Fine. In return, don't get me involved in this. Having gotten what he wanted, Dong Bin burst out laughing. "Of course! Our Su Young is so ambitious!" As if remembering something, he suddenly stopped short. "I heard your team has a new member." A calculating glint appeared in Dong Bin's eyes. "Her name is Kim Min-ju, right? Lend her to me, too." Su Young gritted his teeth so hard they felt like they would break. "You bastard! Where the hell did you even hear that?" But to get him to leave, he reluctantly agreed. Fine. Meanwhile, Jun-woo was on his way back on the bus. He looked at the system screen, pleased. Everything was going very smoothly. Jun-woo calculated to himself. Things were a lot different from the bleak period when he first returned. Everything was getting resolved, and unlocking skills was going smoothly. On the screen before him were the skills that were still locked. Low-level summon, unlock condition. 1 new employee in the dungeon cleanup team. Heightened focus, unlock condition. Complete a joint project with another department. His finger hovered in mid-air as he hesitated. The cleanup team hasn't had any new members for months now. This is going to be tough. A new employee. Jun-woo's attention was drawn to heightened focus. A joint project with other departments, huh? In the past, that would have been impossible. But with the current operations team, it might actually be doable. The time extension skill, which required a pay raise for the cleanup team, wasn't very appealing. A pay raise is still a long shot. Jun-woo was intrigued by polymorph. Unlock condition, increase public interest in the dungeon cleanup team. Increase public interest in the dungeon cleanup team. Finally, he made his decision. Right now, this is the only easy option. Suddenly, Min-ju called, her voice serious. "Master!" Jun-woo immediately sat bolt upright. "What is it? What's wrong?" She reported everything without a moment's hesitation. "We're going to raid a multi-zone dungeon this time. I've been assigned as the raid team leader." His brow furrowed in suspicion. A multi-zone dungeon? Is now really the time for such a large-scale raid? So Jun-woo offered a casual compliment. "Is that so? The leader of a large-scale raid team? Looks like you've improved a lot." As expected of my disciple. Min-ju immediately became flustered. "No, that's not it. That's not the important part." Her next words struck him like a bolt of lightning. "The cleanup team is also required to join this raid." He was so shocked that he shouted out in the middle of a public place, "What?" The very next morning, everyone was at the main headquarters for a briefing. The hunters weren't as enthusiastic as before. They were extremely unhappy with the news they'd received. "They took our budget, they took our people, and now they're taking our jobs." "Yeah, today's a raid day, so what are we hunters doing here?" "What can you do? I heard someone connected to the big bosses is in on it." "It's our fault for being at the bottom of the food chain." The group gossiped, shooting glances at Jun-woo's team. "Do hunters have to be afraid of the cleanup team now?" "Hey, they'll hear you, keep it down." So Yan looked at Gun-tae, her eyes filled with worry. "Team leader, are you all right?" He was trembling like a leaf, but put on a brave face. "I'm fine. The cleanup team usually doesn't participate in things like this." Suddenly, a guy arrogantly gestured at them with his chin. "Hey, the meeting is about to start. Go take your seats." Jun-woo was furious but restrained himself. "They're all just B and C rank hunters. Should I really bother teaching them a lesson?" He didn't move, just whispering to Min-ju. "But a multi-zone dungeon raid is a job for Team 1. These people aren't from Team 1. Her voice was laced with discontent. "Right. It was originally Team 1's mission, but team leader Lee Soo-young transferred it to Team 2. Hearing this, Jun-woo became even more irritated. A project this big was just handed over to another team? Why? It should take at least 2 months just to prepare. Min-ju sighed and answered tonelessly, "I'm not sure. I guess the team leaders talked it over. I don't know the details either." Just then, Dong Bin dramatically threw the door open and walked in. "The leader of Operations Team 2 is here." His eyes swept around the room with a hidden meaning. "Hello, everyone." Dong Bin then cut right to the chase. Regarding the Young Dungpo project, but the color had already drained from Jun-woo's face. That bastard. A look of horror slowly spread across his face. Im Dong Bin. The look of horror on Jun-woo's face slowly twisted into rage. "When I first started, he stole credit for my work time and time again. He's notorious for poaching other people's projects." His nails dug into his trousers. He's the leader of Operations Team 2 now? Noticing him trembling with rage, Min-ju asked in bewilderment, Master, what's wrong? So-yeon also fretted anxiously. Jun-woo. Jun-woo growled through clenched teeth. Kim Min-ju. Nothing good comes from getting involved with that guy. Make sure you keep your distance. She was too taken aback to process it. Huh? Up on the podium, Dong-bin continued his presentation. The estimated duration for this project is 24 hours. As you all know, in a multi-zone dungeon, we cannot get out until all the dungeons in the area have been cleared. Then he posed a rhetorical question. If there's anyone who doesn't want to participate, you should say so today. Though I doubt anyone will be opting out. With that, Dong-bin got to the reason he was there. Now we will begin the briefing for the Yeongdeungpo plan. He laid out a seamless plan. We will split into 3 groups and raid the dungeons. The raid duration is 24 hours, which means the monster corpses will begin to decay. Therefore, all operations must be quick and precise. If they rot, they will emit gases that will interfere with the rest of the raid. And of course, the dirty work was reserved for Jun-woo's group. That part will be handled by the people from Cleanup Team 3. Dong-bin shot a meaningful glance in their direction. This is a large-scale project, so of course there will be generous rewards for everyone. Meanwhile, one of the hunters muttered with a grim look. The cleanup crew. Can they really handle it? Backed into a corner, Gun-tae had no choice but to agree. Yes, Jun-woo looked them straight in the eye without saying anything. There was no real reason to refuse. It was a good chance to work with the operations team. There was a bonus, and cleaning up in one go after their raid would be much more efficient. Plus, he had his own agenda. This is also a good opportunity for me to unlock that skill. If I can get heightened focus, the one that unlocks by completing a joint project with another department, everything will be much easier. Besides, Jun-woo didn't want to deal with those other hunters. He just wanted to get the job done. If I don't seize this opportunity, another chance to collaborate with a different department might not come along. We are the cleanup team after all. Still. And so he refused point blank. I'm sorry, I can't do it. His words shocked Dong-bin so much that he dropped his lollipop. What? Jun-woo just wanted to punch him. Helping that bastard get another achievement? I'd rather die. The rest of the team filed out of the meeting room. It was only then that So-yeon dared to whisper, Why did Jun-woo turn it down? We don't get chances like this very often. Sang-hyuk struck a careless pose. She's right. And there was a bonus, too. We should have snapped it up. What, were you scared? Min-ju remained calm as usual. Team leader, what are your thoughts? Sensing the tension, Gun-tae stepped in to defend him. Come on, that kid Jun-woo was just looking out for us. She agreed and laid it all out. I think so, too. They made it sound simple in the briefing, but the reality is that it'll be incredibly dangerous. It's a continuous operation for 24 hours, and there will be a lot of monsters. I didn't want to take part in it either, actually. An image of Jun-woo appeared in his mind like a righteous hero. I can't take my team somewhere that dangerous. I won't do it. Gun-tae's eyes glistened with emotion. Jun-woo understood exactly how dangerous this raid would be. He was worried we would agree without knowing the risks, which is why he turned it down so firmly. So-yeon wiped away a tear. Of course. That's our Jun-woo. Even Sang-hyuk sniffled. That guy always has to make people misunderstand him. I seriously thought he refused just because he didn't want to. A moment later, Gun-tae let out a hearty laugh. Right. I understand how Jun-woo feels. It's a pity, but our team won't be joining this one. Min-ju, who had been silent, suddenly spoke up. I will also be withdrawing. This made So-yeon frantic. Why? You can't do that? You're the leader of this project. The man was also sweating bullets. That's right. If you don't participate because we're withdrawing, then... She cut Gun-tae off directly. No. To be honest, I didn't really want to participate anyway. I'm not good enough to be a leader yet. A rare smile appeared on Min-ju's face. Besides, Master said it's not good to associate with that guy. At times like these, I have to listen to my master. Who else would I listen to? His spirits, along with the others, lifted considerably. That's right. Before they knew it, the sun had set. When Soo-young found out, his face contorted as he tried to hold back his laughter. Then he couldn't hold it in any longer, and his whole body started shaking. The cleaning team is withdrawing? That Im Dong-bin, he deserves it. I should have been there to see that speechless look on his face. After calming down, he pretended to be concerned. Senior, I heard you got rejected? I told you he's not an easy person to deal with. Who does he think he is? We should have been wary of him from the start. Dong-bin's expression was incredibly foul. If you're here to cause trouble, get lost. Soo-young continued to provoke him. Can Operations Team 2 even handle this project? Even Kim Min-ju withdrew? He looked like he was about to explode. Get lost! At this, he let out a loud, exaggerated laugh. If you're thinking of starting some kind of commoners club, Just give it up. I've already made 200 million recently. Unable to take it anymore, the other man slammed the table and swore. Dongbin's voice was distorted with rage. Hey! I'll have to suck up to the director just this once. I have to write up a mandatory participation list. A mandatory participation list. He decided to push Junwoo into a corner. A mandatory participation order for a mission assigned by the director. Failure to comply will result in a penalty or a forced resignation. At this thought, a sinister and resentful glint flashed in Dongbin's eyes. Just you wait. A guy with zero experience in a dungeon raid dares to get angry with me? On the other side, they thought refusing would be the end of it, but a few days later, news spread that Im Dongbin had used the mandatory participation list. Our team and Kim Min-ju were forced to join the dungeon raid. Looking at the crowd of reporters and nosy onlookers in front of them, So-yeon couldn't help but be surprised. Why are there so many people? Sang Hyuk explained, though he hadn't quite adjusted himself. A large-scale raid like this usually attracts a lot of public attention. But then he started to worry. So does that mean we'll be interviewed too? Gun-tae laughed loudly and said half-jokingly, Hey, if I had known I would have shaved. So-yeon also whined in embarrassment. I would have washed my hair if I knew. Junwoo, however, had already noticed that something was off with Min-ju. Is that the expression an attack leader should be making? Are you nervous? The other girl's face was as pale as a sheet. Of course. It's my first time. He patted Min-ju's back a few times. Even so, you have to relax. If the hunters are nervous, the public will get anxious too. Loosen your shoulders. How are you going to raid a dungeon when you're this tense? The smile on her face was more pained than if she were crying. I'm fine. I'm the type who's bold in a real fight. But before she could finish, Junwoo cut her off. I know. He replied with a nonchalant air, but he was actually very concerned. I'm just saying this as a precaution. Once we're in the dungeon, just focus on the attack. You don't need to worry about us. Suddenly, Min-ju's eyes lit up with anticipation. But, Master, please keep the radio on just in case. Junwoo frowned, showing his distaste. Are you planning to ask for my help? She didn't say anything more, just stared at the person in front of her. In the end, he had to compromise. Fine. If you feel like you're really about to die, then you can call me. Min-ju's voice became much more lively. Yes. Suddenly, Gun-tae shouted enthusiastically. All right, let's do one last check. Everyone has their equipment and chemicals, right? Junwoo immediately did a once-over. Hydrogen peroxide, liquid HCl, saline solution. 10 liters of each are all here. So-yeon was also diligently checking their supplies. Vacuum sealer and EVA compression bags, got the safety goggles, the cleaning tank has no issues either. Sang-hyuk's side also reported in. Food and water are all fully stocked. Gun-tae's voice boomed. Good. It's going to be tough, but just do what we always do and we'll be fine. There won't be any problems. Let's give a loud cheer and go. And so the whole group shouted in unison with high spirits, Let's do this! Don't lose to the operations team. Let's do our best. The nearby hunters saw this and jeered. Hey, look at them. What a bunch of crazies. What can the cleaning team even do? Just then, Dongbin walked over. I was wondering where you were. He wore a vile smile on his face. So you were here with the cleaning team, Ms. Kim Min-ju. Then Dongbin said something that sounded like concern, but was actually a provocation. We'll be counting on your help for this raid. Her face showed no emotion at all. Yes. I'll be in your care. Elsewhere, So-yeon whispered in a low voice, He's participating too? I thought since Min-ju was the team leader, he wouldn't be. Junwoo didn't seem worried at all. It's not that strange. Usually, if the squad leader participates in a raid, they also serve as the team leader. His gaze towards them was complicated. Sometimes, there are hunters with the right qualities who are made team leader. Hearing this, her eyes widened. Min-ju is someone like that, right? Junwoo replied decisively, yes. He was still quietly observing his subordinate over there. I admit that Kim Min-ju has the qualities of a team leader, but Im Dongbin actually has another reason for not taking the position. As he glanced at that fat guy, Junwoo couldn't help but feel enraged. That bastard. He doesn't know how to command in the field, because he only ever makes the battle plans. He has no experience as a squad leader, and never participates in the raids. As if reading his mind, Dongbin arrogantly lifted his chin. I'll be on site as well, so even if this is your first time as team leader, you don't have to worry. If any problems arise, just leave them to me. Min-ju bowed her head, avoiding his gaze. Yes, I understand. This greatly displeased him. This brat. What kind of attitude is that? Then Dongbin ordered them around arrogantly. We'll be counting on the cleaning team's staff to help us out as well. I'm warning you all now, don't be late with the cleanup. Junwoo immediately showed that he didn't want to argue. Got it, we'll do our job. This made him even more furious. That damned bastard. Let's see how long he can keep that attitude up. Seemingly dizzy from being provoked, Dongbin held his forehead as he gave an order. My head. Since everyone is here, let's do one more briefing. Team leader. Minju replied flatly and turned to leave. Yes. She walked over to the hunter team and said in a clear voice, "Everyone already knows this, but I'll announce it one more time. We will divide into 3 teams, A, B, and C, for the attack." Then Minju went over the plan again. When Team A attacks the first area, the next area will be handled by Team B, and after that, Team C. The others listened intently without a single objection. "We will repeat this cycle until the raid is complete." Her voice was particularly loud. As everyone knows, the cleanup crew is also participating in this raid. They are all highly experienced, so they shouldn't be a cause for concern. But if a dangerous situation arises, then Minju boldly declared, "I demand that everyone help the cleanup crew." The moment she finished speaking, both Dongbin and the hunter team were struck dumb with shock. But she didn't seem to realize the gravity of the situation. What kind of reaction is this? Even Junwoo was stunned. What did she just say? Trying to save face, Dongbin forced a laugh. "Our team leader must be overly worried. You're asking the operations team for help, right?" But Minju paid him no mind, immediately leading the way forward. "In any case, everyone, do a final check of the mission details. Once you're ready, we will begin the mission." On the other side, the blue light from the dungeon gate pulsed with an increasingly sinister glow. But Junwoo's cleanup crew still moved forward with determination. "Let's get going too." Ahead, the faint silhouettes of monsters could be seen through the gate, yet no one faltered. "Let's go clean up a dungeon,"